to the 15, 10-5, Pater. He's going to throw, back to pass, under pressure, they got him. Big John down the sidelines, high stepping, running left, he's got room, cuts to the 5, bam, ran right over an owl into the end zone. Feathers are flying everywhere.
So far, so good. But the race starts now in the grandest conference on the planet, the SEC. The SEC, where the passion, the glory, and the game winners just mean more.
Darts one across the middle, intercepted. Kip Lewis has it. Far sideline 50.
He's
down
going.
the sidelines 40. Touchdown! Kip Lewis, pick 6.
Today, for the first time, the Plains visit the Prairie. A new foe, an old friend, and War Eagle receive the regal invitation to the Palace for Game 1 of the Gauntlet. But make no mistake about it, this house belongs to BV's boys. Will Big Bad John and that Crimson Curtain D heat up the Tigers or put them in the deep freeze? We're about to find out. It's football time in Oklahoma.
Backed up, under pressure, they got him! They got him! R. Mason Thomas planted him! Sooner magic in the deep south!
It's time for the SEC opener. It's the Oklahoma Sooners and the Auburn Tigers. The race starts now. Here we go. Live from the Palace on the Prairie. Historic Owen Field in Norman, Oklahoma. This is Sooner Football.
And you're still watching the SEC on ABC, presented by Burger King. Today from the Palace on the Prairie, Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. The conference opener for two ranked teams, number 22 Auburn and number 11 Oklahoma. One of only 3 games this weekend matching ranked opponents. A homecoming for Jackson Arnold. For the previous 2 seasons, he was a quarterback at Oklahoma. He was their starter for most of last year, but he went in the transfer portal and is off to a terrific start at Auburn. His successor is John Mateer. The Washington State transfer has really been the talk of college football, off to the Oklahoma 3-0 start, and he has become a leading contender to win the Heisman Trophy. In fact, in most of the services that handicap that sort of thing, he is the favorite. Toby to join a long list of Oklahoma royalty that has won the Heisman Trophy. Sooners about to take the field in front of the 162nd consecutive sellout in this great venue, dating all the way back to 1999. Off to a 3-0 start, the headline victory, one of the biggest for any team in the country so far this season. A Week 2 win over Michigan here at the Palace. And he was tremendous in that game against the Wolverines. Coach Brent Venables hoping his offense starts more briskly than the Sooner Schooner, having a little trouble getting out of the gate. And here it comes, one of the great traditions in college football. And after a losing season last year, 6-7 campaign, second in the last 3 years for Oklahoma, these fans believe their team is much better this season. We welcome you to the All-State Kickoff. Sean McDonough along with Greg McElroy. In fact, both of these teams coming off losing seasons, each 3-0 so far this year. If you're going to have the season you hope to have, this is the kind of game you need to win. Both quarterbacks have been terrific. In the case of John Mateer, what makes him so great?
He is so good when a play breaks down. I think he's probably the best in college football through the first 3 weeks. Just when the defense calls the perfect play and everything's covered, you think they won, he breaks contain and turns something magical into the play. He's been terrific all throughout. He's so competitive, and he'll be up against a terrific pass rush today for the Auburn Tigers.
He's been perhaps the best player in college football so far this year. He's the successor of Jackson Arnold. Jackson had a tough year here last year. Was not a very good team around him on offense. The coaches hoped that he would stay and compete with a transfer portal quarterback to keep the job as the Sooner signal caller. He decided to leave before he knew Mateer was coming here. And Hugh Freeze is delighted to have Arnold.
And he's still a very talented young man. At this point of his development, though, it's his legs that make him very difficult to defend. He is really good and broke down Baylor just a few weeks ago. 137 yards on the ground in that game. So you got to be mindful of him taking off at any point and creating explosives in the run game.
Here's Molly McGrath down on the sideline with Auburn coach Hugh Freeze.
Coach, what kind of emotions have you seen from your quarterback Jackson Arnold today ahead of facing his former team?
He's mature, flatline, focused, ready to execute each given play to the best of his ability. He's in a good spot.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Absolutely.
Sean.
He was not the starter for Oklahoma last year when these two teams met at Auburn. He had been benched the week before. This is the fourth meeting all time. Oklahoma won that game, the loveliest village on the plains, last year. Auburn had a late lead. Oklahoma scored the last 17 points of the game in the final 8.5 minutes. The other two Oklahoma wins in this rivalry were in Sugar Bowls after their 2016 and 1971 seasons. This is the All-State kickoff. Oklahoma won the toss and deferred, so Hugh Freeze elected to receive the opening kickoff. With a very dangerous Rayshon Pleasant back deep. 3 career kickoff returns for a touchdown. One in their opener. Very impressive win at Baylor. That came in the third quarter. He had 2 last year for Tulane. Tate Sandell kicks off. Temperature near 90 degrees. Just outside of Oklahoma City. Very little breeze to speak of as the left-footed Sandell gets this one underway. It's returnable from the 6 for Pleasant. And he got a hit shy of the 20 and lunged forward near the 24. There comes the Auburn offense and some boos for Jackson Arnold. He started 10 games over the 2 years that he was here. Coming out of high school in Denton, Texas, is one of the top recruits in the country. 9 of those starts last year, they went 5-4. 70% completions so far under this RPO offense of Hugh Freeze. And he's not turned the ball over. Given plenty of time by a veteran offensive line. He slides down with a short gain. They'll mark it where he started to slide at the 25 for a gain of 1.
That's going to be very important throughout the game for Auburn. If nothing's there, Jackson Arnold has to be decisive. This is a great defense at all 3 levels. Can't hold on to it too long. If it's not there, get north and south, see what you can create with your legs.
Jeremiah Cobb is the running back. And shifts to the left hip of Arnold. Cobb stopped after a 2-yard pickup by an outstanding Oklahoma defense. They're 4th in the country in total defense through the first 3 games. 4th in scoring defense, giving up just 6.3 points per game in wins against Illinois State, Michigan, and last week at Temple. They haven't given up a point in the first quarter this season. 3rd down and 7. Those who used to cheer Arnold now making it very difficult for him. More than 80,000 here. Again, plenty of time. Now out of time and taken down by Taylor Wine.
And Wine just crashes to the inside, but Arnold has got to understand that the pressure is coming. He's holding it forever, looking forever. There's nothing downfield, and it results in a sack. The ball's got to come out quicker. This pass rush is too relentless.
2.5 sacks on the year now for Wine. Hudson Cock punts. Isaiah Satania There's a flag down. He's down at the 40. Tackled by Kayan Lee. So a 3 and out for Arnold. Let's find out what the penalty flag is all about from our referee Jeff Heiser, leading this Southeastern Conference crew.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 12. 10-yard penalty. 1 minute. We're standing.
50-yard punt, and the penalty will back up the Sooners. Here's John Mateer. Those 944 passing yards, third most by an Oklahoma quarterback through the first 3 games of a season. Surpassed only by Josh Heupel in 1999 and Baker Mayfield.
Second you watch that young man, his competitiveness just jumps off the tape. Never gives up on the play, runs incredibly hard, was a 3-star prospect coming out of high school and really plays the game with the chip on his shoulder.
From Little Elm, Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area near Frisco, about a 3-hour drive from here. Hands it off to Tory Blaylock, the true freshman who has emerged as their leading running back off a 100-yard game, first of his brief career in the win, 42-3 at Temple.
I think Blaylock's been a tremendous surprise for offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle. Such speed, it's been on display all throughout the first 3 games.
Just 18 years old. Mateer given plenty of time and has Deion Burks open, and he has a first down out to the 43-yard line. Burks, one of those receivers Jackson Arnold wishes he had last year. Missed much of last year due to injury. Blaylock. Bobby Jamison Travis made the tackle for the Auburn front. Like Oklahoma, Auburn's played excellent defense.
Big point of emphasis for defensive coordinator DJ Durkin is his front 4, their defensive line, one of the strengths of their team. They have to win against an offensive line against Oklahoma that came into the season with some question marks.
Mateer under pressure. Takes off running and walked the tightrope along the sideline. They're going to give him the Auburn 49, about 2 yards short of the first down.
That's what Mateer does. As soon as you think the defense is about to make a play, he breaks contain and makes it 3rd and manageable.
The Auburn coaches said he's really more dangerous in those scramble situations. Blaylock lowered his head, did not get the first down. Robert Woodyard and Kensley Ledore-Faustin there, 2 of the stalwarts of this Auburn defense. DJ Durkin's defense is going to try to stop a 4th and 1.
I like going for it here in plus territory, and I want John Mateer to run it. Oklahoma, coached by Brent Venables, has not been a team traditionally that goes for it a lot in plus territory, but I like it here with their quarterback run game.
And that's what you would expect. They're trying to spread out Auburn, give him some running lanes. He finds one outside for a first down. Xavier Atkins made the tackle. 8-yard pickup. DJ Durkin knew the quarterback run was coming. They still couldn't stop it.
Just a great job of Mateer getting to the outside.
Running out of time, throws it. Burks is open. It's over his head. Mateer had to throw it under duress.
Mateer admitted that he really wasn't that fast growing up. He wasn't a guy that used his legs very often, and during COVID, he trained on a hill. He said, I watched Derrick Henry tape, and I wanted to get faster, so I started running up a hill next to my house, and he feels like that's what has allowed him to become a much faster player. Certainly paid off so far for the Sooners offense.
They sent Blaylock in motion, a blitz, a middle screen. Satania lost the football. Auburn has it. So far, no whistles. Mateer, the only man who can stop Kayan Lee, and he does not. Touchdown, Tigers. Dennis Robinson ripped it out.
Right there, the ball's starting to come out. Did he ever secure the catch? It looked like his backside was down, but the ball was coming out at that point. But did he secure the catch, make a football move? Because that's what needs to be determined if you're going to call this a fumble.
And they have stopped it.
Really on the field.
I guess the question is he down there? Is his backside on the ground? I think he secured the catch. Let's bring in Matt Austin, our officiating expert. Ball's kind of swirling around there, Matt, but let's yield to the expert. What do you think?
Well, Sean, I'm not sure he ever had full control of the ball. It did look like he stuck it to begin with. As they started to put it away, it looked like it did start to come out. This is going to be a very subjective call by the replay official, because the ruling on the field is it was a catch and a fumble, and it's going to be a little difficult, I think, to determine if he did stick the ball, have full control of it, and then went down and fumbled the ball before he hit the ground.
Hugh Freeze explaining what he saw, hoping that the call on the field stands, and that is to his team's benefit. If they can't fully determine if this was in fact a catch and then a fumble.
Looked like initially kind of bobbled it, but as he's bringing it down with that left hand, it did look like he might have had just enough. And of course, it has to be indisputable video evidence beyond all doubt to overturn. And it's just so tough to tell if he did in fact secure that catch before the ball's coming out.
I guess the other part of this, Matt, would be if it is a catch, was he down before he fumbled? And it doesn't look like he was, because his backside is on top of the Auburn defender. Or does that make him down?
Well, no. If he's on top of the defender, he's not down. But they have to make sure that none of his leg, his knee, his shin, anything like that touched the ground before it came out.
Just based on everything, I just don't know if there's enough to overturn the call. I think it's very, very close, and catch no catch is a tough one to diagnose, but it looked like he secured it. Looked like the ball was coming out before he was down on the ground, and would not be that surprised if this gets upheld.
And there does become a time when, if it's indisputable video evidence to overturn it, how come it's taking so long? There it is in real speed. See why it's such a tough call for the officials. And Matt, ordinarily in that situation, right, they let the play go. You can always go back and fix it later. But
yeah, absolutely. You know, part of the catch process is have the ball for.
After further review, the ruling on the field, incomplete pass. It'll be third down.
I actually like that overturn, because I don't think he ever completed the process. Yes, he had it for a second. I don't think he ever really had control going to the ground. You got to have it for a certain amount of time. You have to make a football act. Time to turn, tuck the ball away. I don't think he had time to do it. I think that's a good overturn.
Yeah, but by the time, as he was making a football move, taking steps while trying to catch the balls, we saw at the beginning right around here, the ball starts to slide around.
It is
correct. That's why I don't think he ever had firm control.
Yeah, it's bang, bang for sure, and a fortunate one there for the Sooner offense.
A huge break. Of course, last year was a defensive touchdown at Auburn that turned the game in favor of Oklahoma. Hugh Freeze's team had a 21-10 lead in the fourth quarter. But Brent Venables got a pick six from Kip Lewis of 63 yards to put Oklahoma ahead, and they won despite being outgained by nearly 200 yards at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Well, the review took a very long time, and now the officials are having a tough time getting it started up again. So it's 3rd down and 10 at the 40-yard line. Matier takes off from the pocket again. There are 2 flags in the secondary. It's an incomplete pass on the sideline, caught by Keontez Lewis, but he's deemed to be out of bounds. And Hugh Freeze isn't going to like this verdict either.
Defense, number 14. 10-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
That's Rayshon Pleasant. They're likely going to play today without one of their best corners, Jay Crawford, out due to
is trying to break to the outside. Pleasant grabs the jersey, spins him around, and it's an easy call for the official.
They're at the 30. Crowd gets very silent, and now another flag. Before the flag.
Ball start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Heath Ozaida, the left guard, been mix and match along the offensive line for the new offensive coordinator, Ben Arbuckle. The offensive line was a disaster last year. They think it's much better. They brought in some transfers. They only have one player who's started all 4 games at the same position. That's the right guard, Febechi Wiwu. Matier lunged ahead for a yard. Xavier Atkins made the tackle.
Big question throughout this game is just how good has Oklahoma's offensive line become. This is one of the better units in the SEC along the front for the Auburn Tigers, and so far they've been pretty good at the point of attack.
10th play of the possession. It's been drama-filled. Matier to the sideline, and Satania couldn't make a one-handed catch. Well, DJ Durkin certainly believes his defensive front is outstanding. He thinks this might be the best defense he's ever coached. The headliner up front is the preseason All-American Keldrick Falk. But he believes they can win the battle at the line of scrimmage, and they've been able to rush the passer this year and stop the run while rushing only 4.
And that's going to be big. But here, as you're right on the fringe of field goal range, it's important for Matier to understand ball's got to come out, because if Auburn's ever going to pressure, this would be the down and distance at the spot on the field to do it.
3rd down and long. They're on the fringe of field goal range. The crosser is Ivan Carrion. And Carrion is down at the 31-yard line, tackled by Rayon Strader. Will now be part of a 3-cornerback rotation for Coach Durkin. Without Jay Crawford today, he suffered a knee injury last week in their win against South Alabama. Now here's a 49-yard attempt for Tate Sandell, new field goal kicker, transfer from Texas San Antonio. Late player ran on for Oklahoma. And it is good. Some good fortune early for Brent Venables. Hugh Freeze will likely be dialing the conference office at some point in the next day or two. A defensive touchdown taken back when that was ruled to be an incomplete pass. And the Sooners wound up with 3. Limited plan. Get on the ESPN app to unlock your access. I have my fellow New Englander John Cena in that one.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go Lesnar. I think Lesnar, the heel, goes and gets it done tonight in Indy.
Well, now that gambling is allowed, I guess we could put a friendly wager on that.
That's fine. I'll buy you. How about a new suit?
I need it. Tate Sandell sent it down to the 5. Here's Rayshawn Pleasant. Flags everywhere. It has been a flag fest through the first 6.5 minutes.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 32. Penalties half the distance to the goal. First down.
So here comes Jackson Arnold for the 2nd time today. Molly?
Yeah, well, pre-game, Jackson Arnold walked out onto the field to a chorus of boos from Sooners fans who heckled him the entire time during warm-ups, but he was unfazed. He addressed the team this morning, telling them the only emotion he feels is love for them, promising to play his heart out for this team. But Oklahoma head coach Brent Venables told us he still loves Arnold, wishes he stayed in Norman, but stressed that those emotions not a part of this game. He said he's merely a nameless and faceless opponent today, Sean.
Brent Venables and the Oklahoma players we talked to all said they think he's a terrific human being, Jackson Arnold, and a very talented player. He comes out throwing on first down, throwing it deep, a little underthrown. There's contact, but the catch was made anyway. Cam Coleman
so big and physical. It's going to be hard for Auburn to run the football against this great defensive line, so you got to take some shots over the top, but Coleman reels one in.
How was there not a flag on that? It was clearly contact before the ball got there. 46-yard gain. Coleman is a big playmaker. Arnold almost threw an interception. Peyton Bowen got his hands on it.
And man, very fortunate here is Mateer. Look at the eyes of Bowen and how he drifts right out underneath that in-breaking route. If the throw was maybe a little more accurate, it would have been an interception. But Bowen over pursued, and a fortunate one there for Jackson Arnold.
Who has now thrown 225 straight passes without an interception. That is the longest active streak in the country by about 50 pass attempts. It was very nearly over. Throws it out wide, and that's off the hands of Eric Singleton. An incomplete pass to the transfer from Georgia Tech. One of the great pickups for any team out of the transfer portal.
3rd and long. Brent Venables been doing it for a very long time. This is where some of the exotics show up. It's so hard on the quarterback. You're going to see linebackers walking up. You're not going to know who's blitzing. Creates a lot of confusion there with your protection. Doesn't look like it here, though. They're playing soft.
On 3rd and 10, just a 3-man rush. They did push the pocket. Arnold has room, scampers down the sidelines, and he has the first down. Out of bounds at the 36, an 11-yard gain for Jackson Arnold.
His legs against the 3-man rush. They lose contain to the right-hand side. They're trying to spy him. Plenty of guys with eyes in the backfield. But a poor pursuit there by Wine. Probably could have cleaned him out. Thought he was out of bounds. He wasn't. Tightropes the sideline for the conversion.
Yeah. Why did Wine pull up?
I'm guessing he thought he stepped out. That was
He
wild.
wasn't. He had a chance to shove him out short of the sticks. Looked like Owen Heineke took a tough angle as well to help Arnold pick up the first down. Jeremiah Cobb spins off a hit and got back to the line of scrimmage. Peyton Bowen finished him off. Impact players presented by the Home Depot.
Well, it starts on offense with Cam Coleman, one of the highest recruits in the entire country. Chooses Auburn, has been electric in his first 2 years. And then Kip Lewis, a linebacker for Oklahoma. He's going to be responsible for a lot of Jackson Arnold's run game and scrambles today when he's aligned in a quarterback spy technique.
Sixth play of the drive. Arnold given a clean pocket on target. First down and more for Malcolm Simmons. Finally spun down near the 20 by Robert Spears Jennings, a safety. With 15 more, and now a late flag thrown at the end of the play.
After the play is over, personal foul, face mask, defense. Penalties half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
I believe it was on Gentry Williams, one of their cornerbacks. Brent Venables says their cornerback play has been much better than a year ago. One of the interesting sidelights of this matchup today, Venables, the head coach, calls the defenses, and Hugh Freeze, the head coach for Auburn, calls the offensive plays. You don't see it very often when the head coaches are the play callers going head-to-head. Quick hitter up the middle. Jeremiah Cobb inside the 5. Pickup of 7. They could get another first down, but it would be just inches short of the goal line.
This is a very impressive answer from Auburn on this drive. Just to put things in perspective, how good Oklahoma's been defensively these first few weeks. This is the deepest penetration any offense has made. Prior to this, the deepest anyone's been in Oklahoma territory was the +13. So Auburn cooking against a great defense.
And both teams like quarterback run at this part of the field. Arnold trying to get outside. Oklahoma knew that was coming. He's dropped at the 5 by Kendall Daniels. They are playing the first half without their outstanding end, Mason Thomas, ejected for targeting the second half last week.
One thing that Auburn will try to do, too, try to invite that run game, but they love RPOs. Cam Coleman's a matchup nightmare. Anytime he gets a one-on-one look, you can always throw the fade to the big sophomore at the bottom of the screen.
Auburn was dreadful in the red zone last year. They've been perfect this season. Here's Singleton out of bounds for very little gain. Matter of fact, no gain on the play. And the field goal unit will come on for Hugh Freeze.
A good answering drive to get some points, but some confusion on first down, not timing up the snap, not typing up the snap there on third down. Some opportunities missed there for the Auburn offense.
So here's Alex McPherson. Hopefully you saw the great piece by Jen Latta on game day this morning. Missed almost all of last season due to some very severe illnesses, ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. He's been one of the best kickers in the country. They're thrilled to have him back. That one is good from 24. 3-3 tie. Just under 4 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
SEC on ABC College Football is presented by Burger King. You rule.
The Sooner Schooner made its first appearance September of 1964. One of the great traditions in college football ever since. I remember working with Mike Gottfried when he told stories about coaching Kansas, coming here, being the homecoming opponent. He was actually worried about the health of the horses because Oklahoma scored so many points.
Something tells me they get plenty of running with what offenses we've seen over here in the last 15, 20 years. Off the charts good on that side of the ball.
So a 3-3 game. The first points given up by Oklahoma in the first quarter this season. They'd given up only 19 total through the first 3 games. That was the fewest through 3 games since 2009. Connor Gibbs is the kickoff man, with McPherson still working his way back to full strength. Alex McPherson said he started to feel unwell late in the 2023 season. In April, he got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, lost more than 50 pounds, had his large intestine removed. Now his small intestine, to compensate, pokes out of his side. I mentioned on the feature this morning, his left side, so the ostomy bag that he has to wear does not interfere with the kicking. Gradually gaining weight back, and his leg getting stronger. And Hugh Freeze says he thinks they might be able to try a 50-yarder today. His previous long so far this year's 34. Here's Jaron Kanik, the outstanding tight end, for 9 yards on first down.
Important to get him a look early. Been quiet so far. Hasn't really had much of an opportunity, but coming into today, leading receiver on the team and one of the most productive in the country at tight end.
Tier 3 out of 6 passing for 20 yards. It's a reverse. It's Isaiah Satania, and that salty Auburn defense drops him back at the 29 for a loss of 4. Led by Sylvester Smith, a sophomore star from Munford, Alabama.
And great pursuit here. It looked like it might be made in the backfield, but Auburn staying at home and collecting Satania on the misdirection.
It's a very deep team. DJ Durgan told us yesterday they've had 26 players play significant snaps for the first 3 games. And they're there to belt down Mateer again for no gain. At Atkins there for Coach Durkin.
The big question in this game was, how would Auburn's secondary hold up against an electric group of wide receivers? And so far, they've held up very, very well. They did have the holding penalty that gave them the first down, but for the most part, the coverage has been sticky, and Mateer hasn't had many answers.
So Grayson Miller will punt. He was the backup when the season started behind Jacob Ulrich, but Ulrich suffered an injury. Miller got the chance, and he's been terrific, averaging 49 yards per punt in the last 2 games. A low line drive caught by Malcolm Simmons, and he's taken across the boundary at the 27-yard line. 47-yard punt, a return of 3. 2 undefeated teams in the SEC opener on ABC. Student section can claim the title of Livermont's Student Section of the Year. Who will take home the trophy this year? It's a rejuvenated fan base with a 3-0 start. The proud program with 2 losing seasons in the first 3 under Brent Venables. We're tied at 3 under 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter. And it's Damari Alston, a veteran running back who has missed the last couple of games with a shoulder injury, back in action in a pickup of 1. Jackson Arnold, one of the top recruits in the country, number 3 overall, coming out of Denton, Texas. Behind Malachi Nelson and Dante Moore, a couple of fellow quarterbacks. 1 year as the backup to Dylan Gabriel. He started the Alamo Bowl, lost to Arizona, but he was prolific in that game. Then 9 starts last year. They went 5-4. He transferred to Auburn. And he is wrapped up and taken down by one of his former mates, Owen Heineke, the redshirt junior from Tulsa, in a transfer from Ohio State.
And a great job here protecting initially as Heineke is coming right up the middle. But Arnold, that ball's got to come out. He tries to take off just a little bit too late, and Heineke makes the play.
Key for both defenses, discipline in your rush lanes, because you know these quarterbacks are going to pull it down and take off with regularity. 3rd down and 11. Arnold, plenty of time, airing it out as a man open. It's a yard too long. Intended for Cam Coleman again. Hugh Freeze said we're going to take some deep shots, knowing that it's hard to do against an Oklahoma team that frequently will put pressure on the QB.
And it looked like a little stutter go, slips inside, stopped running there for a second. If he maybe stays at full speed the whole time, maybe he runs under it, but a big missed opportunity there for Auburn's offense.
So being a quarterback, you would blame that one
always
on the wide receiver.
Of course, if I can, you got to try.
Keep running. Hudson Cock is the punter. End over end. Isaiah Satania, a fair catch inside the 30. 48-yard punt. And after we're finished here, a Sunshine State showdown right here on ABC. Number 4, Miami. What a great scene this morning. Game day on their campus in Coral Gables. They'll be a little north of the campus to host Florida. Trying to right the ship after a 1-2 start. That's tonight at 7:30 Eastern. Final half minute of the first quarter. Sean McDonough with Greg McElroy and Molly McGrath. 2 defenses that have played very well coming in, and they've ruled the day so far. Tory Blaylock taken down after a 7-yard gain. Xavier Atkins in there again.
Yes, Ben Arbuckle, when did you know Tory Blaylock was special? He said about the 3rd practice of spring when he went 60 on our defense, and his speed has been on display throughout these first 3 games.
One of the things coaches often worry about with freshman running backs is pass protection. But Arbuckle also said early in one of their practices, Kip Lewis came on a blitz and Blaylock stoned him. That's when they knew they had a complete player who was ready to go. Dion Burke stopped short of the first down, tripped up by Rayshon Pleasant on what will be the last play of the first quarter. Tied at 3. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Coach, that defensive touchdown overturned in the first quarter. What did you say to the officials about that call?
I don't know how it's not a fumble. I don't know. Maybe they had a different view up stop. It looked like he juggled it first, regained it, ran. We stripped it. Thought it should have been a touchdown.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
That was Hugh Freeze with Molly a moment ago. It would have been a 64-yard fumble return for a touchdown for Auburn. A 7-0 lead was overturned after a lengthy delay. I agree with Hugh Freeze.
It looked like to me, while it wasn't tucked into his body, it didn't look like the ball was moving. So I can understand from his vantage point why he thought it was a catch, and then the ball was stripped and returned to the house.
Taking a couple of deep shots. A lot of teams don't try that very often against Oklahoma. He said sometimes he thinks their secondary can get flat-footed. They completed one big one, had another man behind the defense and missed on the completion.
Play again. Kicking team. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
So Grayson Miller will punt again after the 5-yard walk-off.
You'll see a traditional punt return unit out there for Auburn. It looked like their defense is on the field preparing for the fake. Now a traditional return unit will go back on.
Grayson Miller, my goodness, a bomb, and Malcolm Simmons elected to field it inside the 5. It's an epidemic of punt fielding inside the 5 around college football. It's never really been a good idea. Jaden Hardy dropped him at the 3, a 69-yard punt.
Just a massive mistake from Simmons, who just, for whatever reason, just lost track of where he was on the field, tracked it all the way into the end zone, and just an enormous moment for Oklahoma.
By far the longest punt of his career for Miller. Previous long was 59 in his debut against Michigan. The transfer from Central Oklahoma. The Jackson Arnold. And the Auburn Tigers backed up to the 3-yard line. They come out with a play action pass and another long one and another open receiver and a catch. Cam Coleman with Cortland Guillory in coverage, a true freshman, good for a 40-yard gain.
That's twice now, backed up with Arnold in his own end zone. They take a shot to Coleman in one-on-one, who makes a great play on the ball, securing it and reeling it in after the big completion.
A little bit of a limp as he comes off. Caught 37 balls as a freshman last year. Really came on late in the season. It's a deep and talented receiver group. Ole Miss had some terrific receiver rooms when Hugh Freeze was the head coach there. He's not ready to compare this bunch, but he says there's a chance they could be as good. They're not reluctant to throw the bombs today, and that's out of bounds, intended for Horatio Fields, with Guillory in coverage again.
We know that this is a very aggressive Oklahoma defense, and the way to soften them up, a little double move, a little stutter go. Perfect timing. Threatens the toes of the defender, Guillory, the freshman, and Coleman goes right behind him for a big play, and they try to go back to the well with the exact same play right after it.
Not much success with downfield throwing. Last year, again, lots of injuries for the wide receiver group.
Ball start. Offense. Number 76. Under penalty. Second down.
Mason Murphy, the right tackle transfer from USC, and really a dreadful offensive line that Jackson Arnold had to play behind at Oklahoma here last year.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the question here these first few weeks. He's been very efficient on the underneath. He's done a great job running the ball. We know that, especially on scrambles. But the deep downfield passing attack has yet to really come on. And so far today, it's been much improved.
More moving. This time it seemed at the other end of the offensive line.
Snap. Ball start. Offense. Number 52. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Dylan Wade, the left guard,
downfield, encouraging Arnold to go through all of his progressions and air it out downfield. And multiple receivers, including Cam Coleman, going up to Jackson Arnold saying, we have your back. You can feel that support from him here on the sideline.
And this offensive line giving Arnold time in the pocket. And again, no Mason Thomas for Oklahoma, defensive end for the first half. Arnold run down for another loss. They're going in reverse. This time it's Marvin Jones Jr. There is a flag. Jones, a transfer from Florida State.
Did he grab the horse collar here?
Personal foul. Horse collar. Defense, number 97. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Wow, what a break. As Jones Jr.'s in pursuit, you see him grab inside the collar of Jackson Arnold, dragging him backwards. Arnold turns right around, points at him, knows it's immediately going to be a foul. And what a break for Auburn on 2nd and 20 to get a fresh set of downs.
Brent Venables was quite honest. We talked to him yesterday about Jones. He said when he was here for spring practice, I was really unimpressed. But he made rapid improvement. And he's off to a nice start this year for the Oklahoma defense.
Another opportunity now with Coleman up top, potentially in one-on-one against Guillory, the freshman.
Safety creeping over, trying to help with that in mind. There's another flag. Jackson Arnold belted down for no gain by Toby McKenzie.
Holding. Offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Well, they're all taking their turns getting a penalty. That's the third different offensive lineman on this possession. Jeremiah Wright, the right guard.
And you'll see as he works across, he just throws the linebacker on the ground, and that's what results in the flag.
Five penalties on each team. And we still have more than 13 minutes to go until halftime. Jeff Heeserster not afraid to throw the flag, as we saw last week at LSU as well. Arnold sacked back inside the 30. David Stone, the defensive tackle, for a 9-yard loss.
And picking on Jeremiah Wright again. Watch Stone loop right around as his nose tackle crosses face. He loops right inside and drops Arnold for a sack.
Well, Brent Venables raved yesterday about Stone. In his second year, he was the top defensive tackle coming out of high school 2 years ago. That ball is ricocheted up in the air and incomplete off the hands of Preston Howard, one of their tight ends. Kendall Daniels had a shot at the INT.
Ball just a little inside, leads to the deflection, and man, it looked like Daniels was going to reel that in.
Oklahoma, stunningly, for as well as it's played on defense, does not have a takeaway this season. They started the day one of only 6 FBS teams in the country that did not have a takeaway. Third down, 28. Jackson Arnold heading toward the sideline. It's going to be a timeout. What do you have for third down and 28, Coach? We'll find out when we come back. 3-3 tie in the SEC opener for Auburn and Oklahoma. Well, there apparently was not a timeout. They did stop the play for some reason, let the teams go to the sideline, but they came quickly back out. And on fourth down, Damari Alston was tackled by Marvin Jones Jr. Apparently they assessed the delay of game penalty rather than grant the timeout.
Yeah, on the 3rd and 28, what's the difference between 3rd and 28 and 3rd and 33? You might as well save that timeout. But either way, just a miserable moment there for Auburn going backwards with the penalties.
Hudson caught, running for his life, and he's tripped down. Looked like his knee was down. They're going to whistle him down back at the 12-yard line.
Early on the field as the runner was down. Turnover, first down.
It looked like it was a bad snap from Reed Hughes, the long snapper, number 44. It looks low and away.
But you kick it.
You can see, I don't know what stopped Caught from just kicking it with the left leg or something, getting anything out of it. He tried to make a guy miss, and that's just not a winning recipe. Just catastrophic mistakes from Auburn that last few plays.
It wasn't a great snap, but it looked like he had time to just get it off. Michael Boganowski made the tackle. So a huge special teams miscue. So here's Mateer with great field position. Fake the toss, trying to find room. Flags thrown. Stop us if you heard that before today. Xavier Atkins, another tackle.
Offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Heath Ozaida, a redshirt sophomore from Snoqualmie, Washington.
These offenses just can't get out of their own way right now, and Ben Arbuckle constantly playing behind the sticks against a defense that's done a pretty good job up front so far.
Arbuckle's quickly become one of the rising stars in coaching. He was the offensive coordinator at Washington State for the past couple of years. Had the good fortune of Cam Ward and John Mateer as starting quarterbacks there. Neither offense prospering at the moment. Laylock swung down by Bobby Jamison Travis. The way these offenses are going, maybe you kick the field goal before you get out of field goal range. But Arbuckle came first, hired by Brent Venables. And then shortly thereafter, Mateer followed. Mateer has a wide open receiver. Touchdown, Isaiah Satania. Busted coverage for Auburn. And a 24-yard score for Satania. DJ Durkin can't believe it. Mateer took advantage of it. Tate Sandell on for the extra point. It's 10-3. Isaiah Satania, one of the reasons their receiving core has improved. Transfer from Arkansas as his first touchdown as a Sooner. Looked like DJ Durkin was trying to get a timeout, at least get the attention of the defense to the bust.
And a crazy moment a second ago. Here is Satania, who looks like he's walking off the field from the previous play. They decide as soon as he walks off to try to snap it, catch him off guard. Auburn never sees him.
Now let's bring in Matt Austin. Matt, tell us about that situation.
Yeah, I wish I could see the player all the way to the sideline, but I can't. But you cannot use the substitution process to deceive your opponent. If that's what they were trying to do, that's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. It should be 15 yards and no touchdown.
Perhaps that's what Hugh Freeze was screaming at Jeff Heezer about. And I guess that's tough to tell, right? Perhaps, hey, Satania, we want you to stay back out there. Maybe it wasn't intended to deceive, but sure looked like it.
Certainly did, especially as he was walking so gingerly to the sideline.
So I guess, Matt, the other question would be, how do you determine the intent in that situation?
Well, from the body language of him walking off, I agree with Greg. I didn't see where he lined up. I don't know if he was on the line of scrimmage or just a yard back. If he was like 5 yards back in the backfield, that adds to that he's trying to deceive the opponents.
We should also add there's an official right there on that sideline who might have heard the Oklahoma coaches were yelling at him to stay on the field. Not sure if that factors in. So Sandell will kick off. And Rayshon Pleasant back deep. Yeah, it's a touchback, and here's Kevin.
Afternoon, John. We take a look at our multi-view showcasing a bunch of great games across all of our networks. Some programming changes here. Clemson, Syracuse underway after the weather delay. That game over on ESPN2, and they are down, those Tigers, by 20 points in the fourth quarter. NC State Duke over on ESPN News right now in the second quarter. And Ole Miss with a big lead against Tulane late in the first half. Back to you guys.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Auburn struggling lately on offense and in special teams. They've had some good moments with Jackson Arnold in their offense, but just 3 points on the board. Immediate pressure. He bounced off one hit, and then he got flattened for a 2-yard loss by Jaden Jackson.
And now the pressure is starting to really take forth. You can see as Arnold's trying to escape to the right-hand side. Nothing there as they're down there to drag him down again.
Arnold, a little antsy now. Pulls it down and scurries out of bounds. What was once his sideline for a 3-yard gain. They have minus 12 yards rushing against Brent Venables' defense.
So far, Brent Venables has opted to be a little more conservative on 3rd and longs. We haven't seen the exotic pressure packages just yet. It's in there. You know it's coming. It's only a matter of time. So Jackson Arnold's got to be mindful of the pass rush that Oklahoma can bring.
3rd down 9. They're 1 out of 5 on 3rd down.
Here they are with that walked-up linebacker. You got to know who's coming and who's dropping out.
Arnold zings it over the middle. Eric Singleton tackled immediately by Kip Lewis. That prevented a 1st down. It's a 7-yard gain. It's 4th down and 2. And Hugh Freeze has the punting team coming out again and hoping it's more successful than the last effort. Hudson Cock is from Australia. No problem with that snap. Satania, fair catch near the 19-yard line. 48-yard punt. 10-3 Oklahoma, under 9 minutes to go in the first half in Norman. Well, during the break, we found another angle of this play that involves Isaiah Satania. Let's bring in Matt Austin again.
Yeah, the way the receiver's walking to the sideline, his body language says, I'm going off the field. Then he stops right by the sideline, and it's his own sideline. That's no coincidence. To me, this is a hideout play, and it should be an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
And you very rarely see a receiver line up that close to the sideline as well, which to me would be add to the incriminating evidence. Deflected pass is Mateer fired over the middle on 1st and 10. Molly?
Well, Sean, in that break, I spoke with referee Jeff Heiser, who said, you know, all I can say about that is we confirmed there were 11 people on the field, and number 5 technically never left the field of play. That's why it wasn't called.
We'll see if Matt Austin is buying that explanation after this play. 2nd and 10. Torrey Blaylock. Matt, do you accept that explanation? You were a longtime SEC referee.
Well, I don't disagree with anything Jeff said, and strictly by the rule, the player did meet the requirements. He was inside the numbers at the ready for play, or when the ball was made ready for play. But again, you can't go off and pretend you're leaving and stay on.
On 3rd down, Mateer, open receiver, and a great catch by Satania to hang on to it after he got belted by Rayon Strader.
Offside. Defense. Results of the play. 1st down.
A great job by Mateer, knowing he had a free play as well. Take a shot downfield. My goodness, did Strader deliver a blow? How about Satania hanging on to it? You can hear the pass popping from here.
$29-yard gain. Mateer play action. Another open receiver. Another 1st down. Deontez Lewis had to go to the ground to catch it, or there was some run after the catch there for him. They get 19 more, and they're at the Auburn 30.
Sensing that Auburn's on their heels defensively. A little tempo from Ben Arbuckle.
Fumble! Mateer just lost it as he pulled it away from his teammate. Wanted to keep it and run to his right. And Kieron Crawford has recovered for Auburn.
What a huge mistake here. It looked like he was going to hand it off, and Crawford plays it well, keeps his shoulders square, and Mateer puts it on the deck. That's the one issue with this Oklahoma offense this year, is they have not been very cautious with the football. Had 5 turnovers coming into the day. That was triple dig, 104th in the country, and they put it on the deck early there as Auburn seizes the opportunity.
Kieron Crawford, the recovery. Senior from Memphis, is getting better and better by the game. He played just 1 year of high school football, was a basketball player. Arnold after the fake that did not fool Oklahoma, content to throw it away over the head of Malcolm Simmons. So plenty of pass rush for OU without their terrific defensive end, Mason Thomas. 5 sacks in this 1st half officially for Oklahoma. Big reason why the rushing total is -13 for Auburn. The sacks come off the rush yardage.
Probably part of the reason why Hugh Freeze opted on that 1st down play to try to move the pocket, to just change the launch point, and still didn't make a difference. The Sooners were breathing fire.
Thomas will be eligible to play in the 2nd half. And 24 lost yards on the 5 sacks. Arnold short set. Has an open receiver, and with a run after the catch, a 1st down for Eric Singleton Jr., who's caught a pass in 28 straight games now. Every game of his college career at Georgia Tech and Auburn. They go quickly after the 16-yard pickup. They're in midfield. Singleton, he got walloped after a 3-yard gain. Michael Boganowski in on the tackle. Brent Venables coached defense for a long time. He told us yesterday he's the most violent tackler I've ever coached. He said he tries to take your soul away.
Every time he collisions an offensive player, the offensive player's body looks like a car wreck, man. Boganowski, you can always tell when he's in pursuit. Fun to watch.
2nd and 8. Oklahoma leading 10-3. Arnold smothered at the line of scrimmage. Jaden Jackson there, defensive tackle. And Connor Lew, the center, is slow to get up. Those veterans on the offensive line. He's making his 22nd straight start.
That's a big one, too. And Connor Lew is that stabilizing force there in the middle. And against this pass rush, his absence for a prolonged period would be significant.
Loss of 2 on the last play. 6 sacks for Oklahoma. The Auburn center, Connor Lew, trotted off. His replacement is Cale Ellis, the youngest player in FBS football. He turned 17 in late April. In on third down. The shotgun snap was a little high, but easily handled by Arnold. And Arnold is handled for another loss. That is 7 sacks for the Oklahoma defense. Kip Lewis, the most recent.
And a big missed opportunity here for Jackson Arnold. You're going to see number 4, Malcolm Simmons. They're trying to double inside. He goes right out over the top. He's got to step on the defense. Arnold never sees him, and that would have been a huge play had his eyes been on the slot receiver at the bottom.
Hudson Cock. High punt, fair catch signaled by Satania. He's out of bounds.
Some missed opportunities for Auburn. This you thought was going to be a fumble return to the house. Then Satania walking off to the sideline. They don't cover him. They don't see him. Results in a very easy touchdown pass for John Mateer. Just some big moments that have been missed by the Tigers.
Well, the fumble return wasn't really their miscue. They got a fumble. They returned it. It was called back. Hugh Freeze, I think, still very upset. We talked to Matt Austin during the last break, and he read to us the rule about trying to confuse the opposition with the substitution. Here's Javante Barnes on first down. And after he read us the rule, it's clear it should have been penalized. And Matt said it's a very hard thing for the officials to call, and they'll feel terrible that they didn't get it right, in his opinion. But it should have been flagged.
It's just a big miss, and one that could have completely flipped the game. So 2 plays involving the officials. You never like to leave it up to those guys. It could have very much impacted the outcome and where we're at here, 5 minutes left in the second.
In a very stagnant offense, their touchdown came on the short field after the miscue on that punt that you just saw. Mateer forced to throw it away with Eldrick Falk closing in. John Mateer, after the successes with Ben Arbuckle through the first 3 games, has emerged as the leading Heisman Trophy contender. But a long way to go. And he's going to play a lot of stout defenses as they begin conference play. All 8 SEC opponents, starting with Auburn today for Oklahoma, are ranked in one poll or the other. 7 of the 8 are in the AP poll. And a timeout called by Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, 30 seconds.
So it's time for the Aflac trivia question.
Aflac.
Since 1999, which coincides with when the great Bob Stoops arrived here as the head coach, Oklahoma is one of 2 FBS teams to win 90% of its home games. You want to know the other school?
You know, I think it's going to be one that's off the radar. I'm going to go the blue turf for the Boise State Broncos.
You had to cheat.
I did not. I just think
pulled it off.
No, is that who it was?
You pulled it off very well.
Oh, I didn't cheat, I promise.
Boise State. Oklahoma's 147-15 in that span, 90.7% winning percentage. Boise State 151-16, 90.4 on the blue turf. Mateer on 3rd and 10 off the hands of the tight end, Jaron Kanik, who was a linebacker the last 3 years. Has made a great transition to tight end. We have to officially answer the Aflac trivia question. And we are bound to say Aflac as many times as we can while you read the answer.
Love that. Hashtag Aflac trivia.
Yes. It's a great staple of our coverage, the Aflac trivia question. Ohio State not far behind on that list. They've won almost 82% of their games here in the 100-year history of The Palace on the Prairie facing Miller's punt, brought back by Malcolm Simmons. Out of bounds at the 42. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, State Farm halftime report coming your way. Booger McFarland, Kevin Nagandi here with you. What is wrong with Clemson? Highlights coming your way. Big injury for Syracuse. We'll have an update. Also, Utah hosting Texas Tech and stunned at home. Notre Dame looking for their first win of the season, Boog, and this is how you start things. First play from scrimmage.
I love it, Kev. Play action pass, look deep, give your guy an opportunity to make a play. He goes up, makes it, and the Irish are ringing big in South Bend.
C.J. Carr to Malachi Field, 66 yards. Right now the Irish up 28-13. Sean, back to you and Greg.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. Here, Norman, a defensive struggle. Jackson Arnold, quick hitter. And another lost yardage play. Eric Singleton dropped for a loss of 1 by Kobe McKenzie. 7 sacks in this half. And 9, now 10 tackles for a loss. The sack total, the most in a half for Oklahoma since they had 7 against Nebraska back in 2005. Arnold, open receiver, first down. Singleton to the 43 of OU. An 18-yard pickup. Peyton Bowen made the tackle. He was a high school teammate of Jackson Arnold at Geyer in Denton, Texas.
That was a much more decisive throw there from Jackson Arnold. Got it out on time, beat the pressure, and found a completion.
9 out of 15 for 143. Under 3.5 to go. 3 timeouts for Auburn, 2 for Oklahoma. Looked like the right tackle was retreating early, and there is another flag.
A reminder, young center in there.
Snap, false start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. First.
Third false start penalty against Auburn. 7th penalty total. And again, the backup center, the true freshman from Canton, Georgia, Cale Ellis. Just 17 years old. He won't be 18 until next April 29th if you want to send him a card. You have plenty of time to pick one up.
And it's extremely difficult against his defense with all the disguises that they throw at you. Alston.
Well, first down, it seems. Kip Lewis there at the end of the play for the Sooners. It is a first down with a 15-yard gain. That's exactly what they needed.
That was very nice. One of the few times today we've seen from Auburn's offense a perimeter run. So far, things have been very stout up the middle. Now they might have to tack the edges a little bit on the ground.
I wonder if they might want to slow down the operation just a bit. Run down the clock. They have plenty of time. All 3 timeouts, a 2-minute stoppage. And they are running the play clock down to 5. Arnold throws back over the middle. Amari Alston, the senior from Atlanta, one of 4 team captains, a 7-yard reception. Sammy Omosigo was there for Oklahoma. Omosigo raved about Jackson Arnold when we spoke to them yesterday. They remain very close friends, FaceTime all the time, trying to beat his former quarterback today. 2-minute timeout, Oklahoma and Auburn. Sooners up 10-3. You're watching the SEC on ABC, presented by Burger King. You're watching the SEC on ABC on a sunny and warm day with the temperature near 90 in Norman, Oklahoma. Conference opener for both Auburn against non-conference competition. Connor Lew is back in at center. For 2nd down and 3 at the 2-minute timeout. Oklahoma up by 7. But the Tigers driving.
Oklahoma showing max blitz, so Auburn getting to a blitz beater here.
And they tried to bring that blitz. It's out wide. Singleton stays on his feet. And got to the 15-yard line. Sammy Omosigo made the tackle. It's an 11-yard pickup. Great balance by Singleton after Gentry Williams couldn't get him on the ground.
And a great check there from Jackson Arnold. Seeing the pressure all out, you have a menu of options to go to when you see that cover 0 max blitz. They go to a screen. Singleton breaks a tackle and gives him a fresh set of downs.
Arnold's 11 out of 17 for 160. In his return to Oklahoma, they bring a blitz from his left. And Alston off tackle to the right. Stacked up for a minimal gain. Marvin Jones Jr., Owen Heineke on the stop, and a timeout call.
Oklahoma. Please reset the game clock. 1 minute, 52 seconds.
So 1:22 to go. It's Oklahoma that wants to save some time and a chance to get the ball back for their sputtering offense. Neither one of these offenses has done much. And Greg, we talked to Hugh Freeze yesterday. He said he thinks their offensive line is better. It's experienced, one of the most experienced in the country, but they've given up 7 sacks. Oklahoma's record for sacks in a game is 9. They did that without our Mason Thomas so far today. And they've had 4 penalties on the offensive line. So that group is really struggling.
Yeah, they've had their hands full. And I think you got to give some credit to Oklahoma's defensive line, too, because as soon as Jackson Arnold starts to scan the field and take off, they're there to rally. They're not over-rushing the quarterback, which is showing discipline along the front. But ball's got to come out of Jackson Arnold's hands faster. He's got to be more decisive, or else more sacks are going to come.
Brent Venable said we have plenty of talent without Thomas, and that's demonstrated to be true.
Another all-out blitz look from Oklahoma. Last time they went to the screen, now they maybe check to a one-on-one corner route to the top.
Single coverage to his left. They throw it in that direction toward the pylon. Lots of contact and flags thrown. Cam Coleman taken down by the freshman Cortland Guillory out of Klein Oak in Houston.
Right, there's a flag also in the backfield too, so it could be 2 on Oklahoma here with the way they hit Arnold on the release.
No question about the penalty on Guillory.
There are 2 fouls, both on the defense. Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense. That penalty's declined. Pass interference, defense number 4. The penalty took place in the end zone. The ball be placed on the 2-yard line. First down.
There's the hit. Very, very careful there as Powers jumps. That's a launch. You got to be careful. That sometimes, had the contact been a little cleaner, could have been a targeting. So got to be smarter when rushing the quarterback on an all-out pressure.
So 1st and goal. They've scored every time in the red zone this season, 10 for 10 with the field goal. After they were awful in the red zone last year, worse than the SEC, 78% scoring percentage, including touchdowns and field goals. Malcolm Simmons, the motion man. Damari Alston, tough run to get just across the line of scrimmage. And another timeout call. The Sooners out of timeouts, trying to get the ball back as much time as they can. ESPN supports the College Football Playoff Foundation's Extra Yard for Teachers Week each year to celebrate great teachers across the country who have inspired so many of us. Nominate a great teacher in your community by visiting cfpfoundation.org. So 2nd and goal. Ball just inside the 3.
And on 2nd down, if you want to throw it as an offense, this would be the down where you likely do it. So be careful if you're Oklahoma defensively. For a little play action, they might try to sneak one of those tight ends out in the flat. So mindful of your coverage responsibilities in your eyes.
They have 3 tight ends on the field. Alston is the running back. Only 3 carries today for Cobb, their leading rusher. Fake to Alston. Single coverage. They go after the freshman again. Touchdown, Cam Coleman. second touchdown of the season. The 10th of his brief career. Sophomore from Phoenix City, Alabama. And Alex McPherson trying to tie it. Made all 67 career PATs. Still perfect. Nifty drive, 60 yards, 8 plays. They took 3:17 to do it. Arnold 5 for 5 on the drive, including the touchdown.
And beautiful placement on the back shoulder to Cam Coleman. The enormous Coleman at 6'3" and change, working against the freshman Guillory. That is a matchup that has been very advantageous to the Auburn Tigers. He has a tight split, gives them plenty of room to work all the way to the wide side of the field with the ball. That's not going to be defended regardless of who's out there. You could put Richard Sherman, Darrell Revis, you name it, as the progressive pylon shows you, Cam shows you. The Cam cannot be stopped when the ball is placed that perfectly.
3 catches for Cam Coleman for 88 yards and the touchdown. And they've gone after Guillory a few times. Derek Nix, the offensive coordinator's in the booth, offering advice to Hugh Freeze, who calls the plays. So they're tied at 10, Greg, in a half where it feels like so many things went wrong for Auburn. They thought they scored a defensive touchdown. It got called back on a questionable review. Oklahoma's touchdown came on a play that really could have been flagged against the offense. They had the miscue on the punt, and yet they're tied at 10.
I think if you're Auburn, you got to be thrilled. The defense has been the big question. How do you slow down John Mateer in this dynamic Sooner offense? And so far, through nearly 2 quarters, they have just 95 yards to the air and 20 on the ground.
Central New York, Syracuse, they'd be proud to know that I added that up, and it's 115 total yards for Oklahoma.
Admit that you used your calculator, and we'll be good to go.
Jacob Jordan, the fair catch.
Big part of this, too, and just the amount of time that Arbuckle and Mateer have spent together. They obviously trust their young quarterback so much, but how much do you want to put on his shoulders here? You've had some troubles hanging onto the football, and a turnover here giving some points to Auburn for the half would be catastrophic. So you got to be smart if you're John Mateer.
Maybe a conservative play to get it started, see if you can pop one, get better field position, and then get more aggressive. It is a short throw to Satania, down with a 9-yard gain. They don't have any timeouts. The clock will go under a minute. Lake Woodby, a true freshman cornerback of St. Francis Academy in Baltimore, made the play for Auburn. Part of that depth. Mateer forced to retreat, throws it up for grabs. It's caught but out of bounds by Keontez Lewis. They want a holding call on the Sooner sideline and among the 80,000 in the seats.
A lot of contact there, and it was a great effort from Lewis, but just couldn't quite corral it with that left foot extended to try to stay in bounds.
Rayshawn Pleasant there. Again, they're playing without Jay Crawford. Their best corner.
On the field was an incomplete pass. That play is under further review.
They're going to review it. Unless we miss something, this looked to be about as clear-cut a no catch as you can, because he doesn't have possession there, and now it comes to, I mean, what are we doing?
Right there, I mean, it's pretty clear. Doesn't ever have possession. It's a great effort trying to keep that left toe in bounds, but not really that close to a catch, to be honest with you.
I would bring in Matt Austin, but he might have laryngitis by now, and we pay him by the appearance. We're over budget.
The ruling on the field is upheld.
All right, dinner on Matt then tonight. Perfect.
Yeah.
Dinner and drinks on Matty.
Matt's been the star of our show today.
Doesn't take much to be the top dog in this 3-man crew.
Well, he thought the officials got it right on the overturned defensive touchdown by Auburn. We didn't. I think we all agreed about the deception that led to the touchdown for Oklahoma. And that's just a smattering. They're 1 out of 6 on 3rd down. Now it's Auburn that might get the ball back with a chance. They could get a stop here. Xavier Robinson in a running back. Mateer has the first down. Kieron Crawford there. Emerging star at defensive end, to transfer from Arkansas State out of Memphis, Tennessee. Matier, pressure from behind. He tried to spin away but cannot. First sack for Auburn. Blake would be the true freshman corner there for DJ Durkin. And Keldrick Falk finished him off. 15 seconds in the half. They're still going to sling it. Over the middle, a man running free. That's why you keep going. There are flags down. Back near the line of scrimmage, Deion Burks all the way to the 20. Matier's running them down to spike it. They stop the clock to move the chains for a moment, but there's a flag at the line of scrimmage on the far sideline.
Pass interference. Offense, number 5. We play second down.
Isaiah Satania right in front of the Auburn sideline. The officials might have had some help with this call.
And you'll see pretty clearly as Satania is working to the out. He sets a pretty deliberate pick on the corner, number 4, Caden Lee, and that's a great call from the official, and a tough one to see from way in the back, but a huge call, and the correct one at that.
Brings back a 38-yard gain. At the very least, they might have had a chance to attempt a field goal. Crowd's booing. I don't think either side is going to be happy with the officiating so far. It's a hard job. And for the most part, it's done very well.
This is the end of the second quarter.
Well, Brent Venables likely pleased with the defense. Both coaches should be. The offenses need the time to regroup. Here's Molly.
Coach, a penalty negated that explosive play. What's your reaction to how the half ended there?
Well, again, we had a nice play designed up. I don't think that was us, but whatever. We just got to be more efficient, you know, getting in our own way. Auburn's playing well. They got an excellent defense. 8's gotten hot, and so we got to clean some stuff up, maybe give them some help. But at the end of the day, man, you got to win your matchups too. So we've been able to overcome some mistakes with some of the turnovers. The defense got a lot of fight, and it's going to be a hell of a game second half.
Thank you, Coach.
I appreciate it.
Sean.
And we hope his voice lasts to the end. 10-10 at the half. 160 yards of offense for Auburn, just 123 for Oklahoma. Defenses ruling the day so far. Here's the State Farm halftime report. Kevin Nagandi.
Watching the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week.
And you're watching the SEC on ABC, presented by Burger King. On a hot September afternoon in Norman, Oklahoma, the temperature is still 91 degrees. Early, it was the Oklahoma defense ruling the day. Both defenses have been stout. Came home in a late touchdown to tie the game at 10 as we went into the half. Seven sacks, most in a half in 20 years for Oklahoma. The school record's 9. Each quarterback had a passing touchdown. And it'll be decided in the final 30 minutes, or perhaps more than that. And the kickoff from Conard 5G home internet.
It was an eventful first half for the officials, that's for sure. This play initially ruled a fumble return to the house. They decide that it was incomplete, and then a little later on, it looked like Isaiah Satania was about to leave the field. He never did. Stayed on the field, kept 11 players on the field. Nobody covers him. Auburn never sees him, and it's a touchdown. But our official rules analyst, Matt Austin, felt like that should have been a 15-yard unsportsmanlike. So it's been very chaotic here these first 30 minutes.
John Matier, 8 out of 16 passing for 104 and a touchdown in the first half. He hands it off to Tory Blaylock, who got knocked down for no gain. So what, Greg McElroy, can these coaches do to get the offenses moving in the second half?
I think for Oklahoma, they got to find some rhythm in the run game. So far, the coverage from Auburn has been outstanding, so they got to loosen that coverage up a little bit with their backs and John Mateer's legs.
Mateer hit as he throws, and it forces the pass to fall short of the intended target. Robert Woodyard Jr. delivered the hit, and now he is injured, starting linebacker for Auburn.
That was a nice pass rush by Woodyard Jr. as Mateer is able to get rid of it just before he arrives, and Woodyard got up on his own for a second, then went back down to the field, favoring that right shoulder, it looked like.
Well, we came in talking about the quarterbacks, understandably so. John Mateer, terrific in his first 3 games here at Oklahoma, to the point where many of those who rank these things had him as the Heisman Trophy favorite entering this week. We're still in September. And Jackson Arnold was the quarterback here last year. Now he is at Auburn. I think Jackson Arnold played really well. 12 out of 18, completed his last 7 passes in the first half.
Yeah, when he decided to throw it, I thought he was very accurate. He made some nice throws downfield. That's something that hasn't really been a big part of his game here these first 3 weeks of the season, but it's clearly in there. Cam Coleman, he was outstanding there in the first half. The big thing for Arnold now moving forward, though, he's got to get rid of the football. The sacks have become problematic, but several of those sacks were because he was scanning the field and holding it too long. He's got to get rid of it or decide to run, because right now that pass rush is certainly having a huge impact.
And the sack total might be inflated. Our legendary statistician Mike Swanson thinks there were at least a couple where it was a run play, but because he was tackled, Arnold behind the line of scrimmage, Oklahoma was credited with sacks. 3rd down and 10. The Sooners 2 out of 7 on 3rd down so far. Mateer, his pass deflected up in the air, and it falls incomplete. Keldrick Falk, one of the best in the country. Most believe he's going to be a first-round pick with the deflection.
And this is on John Mateer. I mean, he knows that this edge rush is a huge problem. That's an issue. So what does he do? He drops back. He needs to step up. Watch him drift in the pocket and invite that edge rush. He's going backwards, and that's really putting his tackles on an island. He's got to step up as opposed to retreat to allow that protection to stay sound.
Grayson Miller to punt. Malcolm Simmons back at his own 30-yard line. No breeze at all in this stadium at the moment. Another booming kick by Miller's been a revelation. Simmons couldn't find the lane. Goes down at the 20. 58-yard punt, 3-yard return. Time for our All-State good hands play.
Cam Coleman has been electric throughout this game. Said early on, he's probably the guy that can win this game for the Tigers, and he's been up to the task. A couple times backed up, poor field position. Just take a shot to big number 8. One of the highest regarded prospects in recent history at wide receiver, and man, he is making it very unpleasant for the freshman Portland Guillory, who has been with him in one-on-one coverage throughout most of the game. So they're going to have to give Guillory some help here in the second half, because he's been on islands and it hasn't been good for the Sooners.
Not that they needed more help, but the pass rush will be reinforced by the return of our Mason Thomas. All-conference defensive end who didn't play in the first half for Oklahoma due to a targeting ejection last week. That pass batted down by Peyton Bowen. And there's our Mason Thomas, senior from Fort Lauderdale, a difference maker. The player and as a team leader.
His matchup against these tackles is a huge advantage for Oklahoma, so you better be aware when 32's on the outside.
Jeremiah Cobb on the field, second leading rusher in the SEC entering today. He's carried the ball just 3 times. I think Alston's better in pass protection. That's why he's been out there a lot. The fake to Cobb, and it is our Mason Thomas introducing himself to his old pal Jackson Arnold. Welcome to the game, number 32.
Well, that didn't take very long. Here he is, right on the outside, just right around the left tackle. Arnold thinks he has more time than he does, but as he holds, there's nothing there. Ball's got to come out. But how about the pass rush and pursuit from Thomas?
On 3rd and 18, Cobb job. Tackled by Jaden Jackson. So Arnold sacked 8 times, now matching the career high. The previous times were last year when he was here in Oklahoma behind that struggling offensive line. South Carolina and Ole Miss each took him down 8 times last year while attempting to pass.
And that's been part of the problem really throughout last year. In 9 starts, he had 34 sacks. That was among the highest totals in the country on a per game basis. And so far today, man, he's got to quit scanning the field. He's just got to get rid of it.
Hudson Cock, short punt. Satania been involved in a lot of stuff today. Had his own man run into him, but he held on. 43-yard punt. His presence felt immediately. Our Mason Thomas. (10-10) the score. We're early in the second half. And we're back in Norman, Oklahoma. 10-10. This battle of 2 unbeatens, 2 top 25 programs. Auburn back into the rankings last week for the first time since November of 2021. John Mateer on target, and it's dropped. Center for Deion Banks. Rayshawn Pleasant was there for Auburn. And Ben Arbuckle just turned 30 on Monday. In his first year here, and he has already started to get attention as a potential head coaching candidate, which seems a little hard to believe given that 5 years ago he was an offensive coordinator in Seminole, Texas. Hand out to Blaylock. 7 years ago he was an unpaid volunteer assistant at Houston Baptist. There's his wife Lauren. They were newly married. He had a job in the oil and gas business out of West Texas A&M where he was a quarterback. Said, I did it for 3 months. I hated it. I want to be back in football. Unpaid volunteer. Worked with Zach Kitley, the offensive coordinator. Bailey Zappi was the quarterback. They all went to Western Kentucky together. Here's 3rd down and 11. And to help make ends meet, at lunchtime, he would leave the football building at Houston Baptist and go drive for Uber Eats. He said, I'd try to make $50 and go back to the office. He dials up a pass to the tight end. Tannick trying to go leaping over Xavier Atkins. That didn't work, but it is a 17-yard gain on the first catch of the day for Tannick, his second rather. And a strange formation dialed up by Coach Arbuckle. Mateer runs across the 40. Ben Arbuckle said it was his wife who made it work. She got a job as a nanny. Their parents helped, his parents, her parents. And here he is just 7 years later, a rising star.
And we asked Brent Venables why Ben Arbuckle. He said, look, the history at Oklahoma with quarterbacks and skill players. I had to find someone that would be highly attractive to guys that would want to play in his offense. So that's why they went in that direction, and what a hire it was.
The 2 prolific years leading the offense at Washington State. Satania the catch. Anquan Figgins there for the Auburn defense, but it's a first down. And Arbuckle's offense starting to find a little rhythm. 5 yards on that play. On the fringe of field goal range, the check down into the flat. Torrey Blaylock near another first down, and the crowd starting to get engaged. Elijah Melendez ran him down, a backup linebacker.
And I love when the offense is kind of stagnant, they don't have much rhythm. Like, man, go tempo. Simplify it. Get rid of the motions, get rid of the shifts. Just let your quarterback play and kind of develop a little juice on that side of the ball. So I love the plan so far on this drive from Arbuckle.
Here still completing just 50% for the game, now 11 for 22.
And you can anticipate here, 2nd and short, this would be a spot where if I'm Auburn's defense, I'd be alert for the throw downfield.
3 receivers to the left. Here's Satania, who scored the Oklahoma touchdown. In controversial fashion in the first half, he has the 19-yard line. 7 more. Mateer trying to get him up in warp speed. The flat is open again. Blaylock out of bounds with a short game pushed out by Xavier Atkins. And they're a little winded here with the tempo. 8 plays run by Oklahoma in just more than 3 minutes on this possession.
And Oklahoma decided to substitute right there, so Auburn could make some changes if they want, but deciding not to, going with the personnel they have on the field.
Javante Barnes in at running back now. 3 receivers to Mateer's right. Look out for Falk. He went leaping in the air, didn't get him. Now a wide open receiver, and it's through the hands of Javante Barnes along the far sideline.
Mateer continues to drift in the pocket a little bit, getting a little too deep, putting those tackles in a very tough spot, but a great job stepping up this time, keeping his eyes downfield, and if Barnes secures it, he walks into the end zone. Big missed opportunity, and just goes to show you the instincts that John Mateer has at his disposal.
3 out of 9 on 3rd down, but 3 for their last 5. They are in field goal range.
Be prepared here. This is where Auburn likes to bring all-out pressure. You look at all those guys lined up. It looks like it's going to be a blitz from DJ Durkin.
Everybody standing up. It is a blitz. It's a quick slant that ends short of the line to gain by a lot. Dion Burks tackled by Kensley Lador-Faustin. And here comes the field goal unit for Brent Venables.
And DJ Durkin has to be thrilled with how his secondary has played today. It hasn't been perfect by any stretch, but the big question mark after the performance against Baylor, where they gave up 400 through the air, and had a big game last week against South Alabama through the air, this secondary's coverage has been outstanding for most of the afternoon.
Here's Tate Sandell to put Oklahoma back on top. They lead for the 3rd time on a 32-yard field goal. 13-10 Sooners, middle of the 3rd quarter. And the topics. What do you think about the push?
Get out. I have no time for the push. It is. I don't want to watch rugby. And plus, I like to see a little more finesse. I like to see a little more action. I want it out. Get it gone. Plus, you can't stop it. And grew up a Cowboy fan, so I don't want to see it.
Tate Sandell, his 2nd field goal of the game, has given Oklahoma the lead for the 3rd time. Rayshawn Pleasant, very dangerous return man, 3 career kickoff returns. No chance for that one. Might have been through the uprights.
Well, this defense has been unbelievable, but Jackson Arnold's helping them a little too. Look at the clock here, all right? Average time to get rid of the pass has to be 2.5 seconds. Right now, you're already at 2:87. He still hasn't found anybody. The eyes are scanned all over the place. But what does Arnold also do? He can break you down on scrambles. So the second he starts to take off, you see Oklahoma defenders immediately corral him, and then here we are back to square one. Mason Thomas back in the game. Look at the clock, holding it forever. The ball has to come out. To hold it over 4 seconds is way too long against an elite pass rush.
Eric Singleton, good tackle along the sideline by Cortland Guillory to stop it after a 5-yard gain. Singleton dynamic when he gets the ball in his hands. He's just 5'9". There's some of those numbers for the Oklahoma defense. 1 sack away from tying the single game school record. Amari Alston, the running back. Heavy pass offense today for Hugh Freeze. Arnold 2 yards short of the first down, Molly.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze's reaction to those 7 sacks allowed in the first half, 8 now overall, was to laugh and say they're good. Every play is another twist and another blitz, and he stressed that Jackson Arnold needs to be protected better, but also needs to go through his progressions, trust his receivers to win those one-on-one matchups. He said, have we not made some of those mistakes, we would have been in the lead. They're a top team in this league. We're playing toe-to-toe with them, so he's encouraged.
Third down and 2. Big play here midway through the quarter. And that's nothing doing there. The quick screen to Malcolm Simmons. Jaden Jackson's had a nice day in the middle of that defense. Sophomore from Indianapolis who went to IMG Academy in Florida. Hugh Freeze has the offense on the field on 4th down and 2.
So far, Auburn has been 5 for 5 this year on 4th down conversions. 4 of those 5 have been quarterback Jackson Arnold running the football. You got to be thinking short yardage. It's Jackson Arnold's legs. here for the Auburn offense.
Will they snap it? Will they just try to draw him offside? He goes under center. Lined up like they're going to try to execute a push. Doesn't look like they're going to snap it. And I would agree with Coach Freeze, you should punt. I mean, they're 1 for 9 on 3rd down today, so they haven't exactly been effective.
And they have -2 rushing yards on the day. You factor in the sack yardage as well. So they are not winning at the line of scrimmage in the run game. So I agree. Defense is playing great. Punt it away. Play some field position.
You're surprised they haven't had more design runs for Cobb. Here's Cock punting.
I am. I think Cobb has got to get involved, especially on the perimeter. He's got great speed. You got to get it outside the tackles at some point.
So Tanya, the fair catch of the 48-yard punt. Well, these two defenses have been terrific through the first 3 games, and they're doing more of the same head-to-head. The Detroit Lions and the Baltimore Ravens. Peyton and Eli will be on ESPN2. Coverage on ESPN begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6 p.m. Lions, after a tough start to the year, Green Bay scored 52 in beating Chicago last Sunday. Ravens won 5 games in a row on Monday Night Football. Torrey Blaylock on first down. Oklahoma field goal drive on their last possession to take the lead. The previous 7 possessions, they did not hold the ball for more than 1 minute and 58 seconds. On 2nd and 6, and another tackle for a loss, and it's Keldrick Falk. Malik blocked in there as well for Auburn. Sophomore from Pike Road, Alabama.
Big question for up against the run, and so far they've been up to the task, and now 3rd and 10. It's got to be looking in the direction of Burks. He's been their best guy so far. Can he create some separation?
Still 10 seconds on the play clock for Mateer. It is Deion Burks, and they wrap him up well short of the first down. There's a flag on the near sideline. It's for offensive pass interference, which Auburn will turn down and force 4th down, you would think.
Pass interference. Offense, number 5. That penalty's decline. 4th down.
Second time today, Isaiah Satane has been called for that.
And very similar to the one we saw a little bit earlier. This time it's even more blatant. He goes right out towards Kayan Lee. I mean, what usually offenses would call it like a rub. You know, that doesn't sound so, quote, illegal. Yeah. That right there is just a bona fide pick. I mean, that's a pick and roll all the way to the hole right there.
How many things has he been involved in? He had the fumble that turned out not to be a fumble. The fumble originally returned for a defensive touchdown by Auburn. He's had 2 of those pick calls now. He was the player who scored the Oklahoma touchdown when he should have been flagged. And now the officials are going to chat. They had been relatively understated here in the first 10 minutes of this quarter.
Relatively.
Probably worn out. I would think they might have taken naps at the half. Hugh Freeze has his job in large part because Brent Venables doesn't.
There was clarification on whose helmet came off.
Brent Venables turned down the Auburn head coaching job prior to the 2021 season. Said it was a tough decision. We've been told by some he actually accepted it and changed his mind, citing a lack of alignment. They hired Brian Harsin. That didn't go well.
11 seconds.
And then he was replaced by Hugh Freeze. Brent Venables went back to Clemson for 1 more year after turning down the Auburn job, and then came here to Oklahoma, where there's great alignment, thanks in large part to the stability of one of the great athletic directors of all time, Joe Castiglione, who's been here since the late 90s. Not a good punt by Grayson Miller. Well, he got plenty on the bounce. This has been a good fit for Venables, but the locals would like to see more wins, don't they all? The numbers. And the rushing numbers impacted by the 8 sacks.
You look at the passing numbers, I mean, it's really just been 2 massive plays by Cam Coleman down the field. So just the consistency in the passing game hasn't quite been there, but Cam Coleman's been a bit quiet here in the second half. You got to get him re-engaged, get him back involved, get him a touch on this drive.
Oklahoma had the ball on that possession for just 1 minute and 9 seconds. Under 5 to go, third quarter. Can either offense make a big play that isn't wiped out by a penalty or a replay review? Jeremiah Cobb. Jeremiah Cobb stays on his feet. Where has he been all afternoon? Our Mason Thomas finally ran him down. That's a 44-yard run.
And this is wild, too, because it looked like number 5, Kendall Daniels, going to make the play right there in the backfield, but Cobb got skinny and hugged right off his left guard. Dylan Wade's behind. Somehow found his way to the second level, and you saw some of the speed in the open field.
He had 314 rushing yards through the first 3 games. That was second in the SEC. And with a heavy lean on the pass, with Alston a better pass blocker. Cobb hasn't been out there much. Alston's back out there now. And stays in the pass block. They have an open receiver. And it's an incomplete pass. Coleman behind the defense again. And the throw is off target in the back of the end.
Man, that's a throw. If you're Jackson Arnold, you will literally remember forever. I still remember when I overthrew against LSU in 2010. And that one, Cam Coleman, perfect stutter go. Beautiful, beautiful route. Bites on it immediately, does Jordan, and he gets behind him, and the throw just off the mark, and a big, big missed opportunity for the Tigers.
That pass, Davon Jordan, a backup corner, sophomore from Tulsa. Big miss. Chance for the first lead of the day for Auburn. 2nd and 10. Plenty of time and a bad throw. In the general direction of Horatio Fields. He's a big target. But that one was well off the mark.
A big call here for Hugh Freeze. His kicker, McPherson, said he's probably comfortable kicking it from about 50 right now. Right now, they're at 50. So Jackson Arnold has got to get rid of the football to make this field goal easier, because you got to anticipate for Brett Venables, you're going to get pressure, maybe all-out pressure.
They bring Alston back to the right hip of Arnold. Couple of errant passes when there were plays to be made, and now a flag thrown by the line judge on the near side for a false start.
Before the snap, all start, offense, number 65.
That one might definitely take them out of a field goal try now. Xavier Chaplin, the left tackle. 5th penalty on the offensive line.
Now, I don't think you're going to get that blitz look from Oklahoma. They're already out of field goal range, so why try to knock them out? I would anticipate Oklahoma trying to keep everything in front of them. And if you're Auburn, probably thinking some type of quick screen, some high percentage throw to make this field goal a little easier. Unless you get Coleman in one-on-one. Blitz look right there. Now they're going to check it. And they hold up long enough to get a look towards their top wide receiver at the top of the screen.
Pressure coming. Malcolm Simmons. Run after the catch gets them down to the 32. Hugh Freeze said yesterday he thought McPherson might be able to make a 50-yarder, but that Alex would tell him after the warm-up how he feels. So apparently it's a little bit out of his range, so they're going to try Connor Gibbs for a 50-yard field goal, which would tie it. Gibbs, a transfer from Southern Miss, was 3 out of 4 last year from 50 plus. From 50, low and wide right. Hugh Freeze said yesterday he thought Auburn would have won 4 more games last year had they had McPherson. They were one of the worst field goal kicking teams in the country without him. And he said it's not good field position when you miss on a long field goal try like this.
That, and it just really never had a chance, too. So all the wrong reasons for Auburn in the kicking game the last couple of years.
Gibbs has plenty of leg to make it as long at Southern Miss 59. That was from 50 with the breeze really not a factor. So Oklahoma hanging on to this 3-point lead. Latier forced back. Deion Burks. Another hard tackle. It's been a hard-hitting football game. That was Champ Anthony, one of their defensive captains, who's, as you can see, playing with club. And apparently there's a problem with that right hand.
Keep an eye on 4 here. Tried to get it deep to him last time in this formation.
I think they stopped it just in the nick of time for Anthony. He was trying to get the attention that he's in some distress.
First charge timeout. Auburn. 30 seconds.
Big collision there between Burks and Anthony. Burks not a big guy, but so explosive. So he goes to the ground, and nothing that would indicate anything too significant there, but some discomfort like you referenced. He's pointing to the sideline, waving to the sideline, looking for some help.
So Auburn has to use the timeout. Anthony's out of the game, one of their best defenders in the secondary.
Them doing this little muddle huddle, it might make you think they're going to run to the line real quick, heavy play action, take a shot. Let's see what they do. Or unbalanced with the tackle on the right side.
Latier, design rollout to the right, slings it to midfield, caught out of bounds to Tanya, short of the first down. Latier does have that three-quarter delivery ordinarily. Because back in the day, some coaches tried to change it, but now the attitude of it doesn't. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. He was a baseball player, very good one. Thought about playing college baseball instead of football for a long time. He was a shortstop. They bring a blitz from a couple of directions and a big tackle, or else Satania might have been on his way. It's a 12-yard gain for Oklahoma, but Anquan Figgins might have saved the touchdown with the trip. Under 2 minutes to go, third quarter.
Now they get to the huddle really quickly. Those receivers get wide. Now with only 5 in the box, defensively, you might be anticipating run. That's why you get those splits as wide as you can.
Latier down the middle, flags everywhere. Canick the catch. If it stands, it's a first down inside the 20. Jaron Canick. And apparently it's going to stand. They're not bringing the ball back. There are 2 flags.
Holding. Defense, number 24. That penalty decline. Results of the play. First down.
Kieron Crawford.
And it just goes to show you how much faith they have in Matier's arm and his accuracy. I mean, that box count right there, 5 in the box with 5 blockers, that's inviting run all day long. Instead, they say, forget about it. We don't care about the box count. We're going to take a shot. And Canick goes up and makes a nice play.
He's been a standout in his first year at tight end. Came into today 245 receiving yards, leading Oklahoma and leading all tight ends in the country. Deion Burks. Tackled by Jared Smith.
Brown wanted a horse collar. One was called earlier against Oklahoma, but in this case, it looked like they grabbed the side, the shoulder, but not in the actual collar itself or on the nameplate. So I think it's a correct call.
Yeah, he has him by the sleeve. And very little arguing on that Oklahoma sideline. It was right in front of them. Under a minute to go in the third quarter. 2nd and 13 from the 21. Pressure. Matier dumped it off. Satania short of the first down. Excuse me, Keontez Lewis. transfer from Southern Illinois. 10-yard gain. Arbuckle, Coach Buck, as Mateer calls him. And Mateer starting to find the rhythm. He's over 200 yards passing now. Blaylock dropped. Mateer had thrown for at least 270 in all 3 games. Coming into today, they didn't throw for 270 against any FBS opponents all of last season. He wants another snap before the end of the quarter, and it's 4th down and 2. Are they really going to go for it? We'll find out when we go to the 4th. End of 3 in Norman, Oklahoma.
This is the end of the 3rd quarter.
Sooners leading the Tigers 13-10. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. You're watching the SEC on ABC from the Palace on the Prairie, Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. The defensive struggle through 3 quarters. 8 sacks for Oklahoma, 1 shy of the school record. And as we go to the 4th, with a 3-point Oklahoma lead, the Sooners have it 4th down and 2 at the Auburn 10, and Brent Venables has the field goal team on. Tate Sandell has already made 2. This is a 28-yard attempt. And it's a 6-point lead. Well, Brent Venables is the defensive play caller. He took that back this year. So a lot of times when the head coach is calling the plays on one side of the ball, the other, he has somebody on his staff who's particularly helpful in helping manage game situations, timeouts, and that sort of thing. And Brent Venables told us yesterday that man has been Kevin Wilson, longtime assistant here at Oklahoma. Back in the Bob Stoops era, a lot of that time, Brent Venables was also on the staff. Coach Stoops is here today. Of course, he went on to be the head coach at Indiana and Tulsa. And that's a great resource to have. A guy who's led a team before.
Tremendous. And just has a great feel for the team, feel for the game, has been around for a very long time. So while some rely exclusively on analytics and things like that and win probability, to have that plus an experienced head coach to rely on as a sounding board is tremendous.
And I agree with the decision to kick the field goal. Total defensive game like this, make Auburn have to score a touchdown to beat you.
Especially with how Oklahoma has struggled to run the football today. So picking up a 4th and 2 is no picnic.
Sandell, the kickoff. It lands in the back of the end zone. So Jackson Arnold, the quarterback here at Oklahoma the last 2 years, last season as the starter. On his return to Norman, 15 for 24 for 173 and a touchdown. He still has not thrown an interception. That is 247 straight passes without a pick. That dates back to the game that he was yanked as the starter last year in the game against Tennessee. 4th game of the year, 7 for 16 with an interception. They pulled him. Michael Hawkins Jr. came in, was the starter until Arnold replaced him off the bench in game 7 and started the rest of the way. Plenty of time again. Damari Alston to the 37-yard line. Jackson Arnold credited with 13 rushes for -20, but then again, all the sacks come off his rushing coach.
On that play, that kind of showed Jackson Arnold's maturity. They call a shot play with max protection, and the safety stays way over the top of Cam Coleman, decides to check it down, pick up a 1st down on the underneath throw. Now that safety is really talking him out of throwing it anywhere deep over to the left-hand side.
Alston again weaves his way across the 40 before he is stacked up by a defense led by Peyton Bowen.
You have a receiver that's as good as Cam Coleman. naturally he's probably going to get doubled a lot. So you got to have someone on the other side that you have tremendous faith in. That's why you go to the portal and you go get a guy like Eric Singleton. If they're going to double 8, one has to be the guy that can win over the top and get behind the defense.
Design run for Arnold.
Jackson Arnold.
Down at the 44, a gain of 3. He set the tone early. First game as the Auburn quarterback on the road against a good Baylor team. Rushed for 137 yards. And like John Mateer for Oklahoma against Michigan, I think wanted to send a message to teammates and the fan base about their toughness, willing to do anything to help the team.
He's definitely done that. No one's questioning toughness at all, man. He can run it, that's for sure, but it's tough against a great defense.
We're 1 out of 10 on 3rd down. Can't complain about the time he's been given. He's on target there to Alston. Toby McKenzie made the tackle, but it's 6 yards to the 50-yard line and a 1st down for Auburn.
Auburn now is continuing to try to find opportunities to take some shots, but it's mostly been RPO calls from time to time. If you'd like a one-on-one, go for it, but you still have opportunities to run the ball inside with 2 tight ends in the game. Let's see if they double Coleman this time, because they're got the same formation. They try to take shots in multiple times, and here's the defender talking you out of it.
He's now 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. Some space on the catch for Malcolm Simmons. Tackled around the legs short of the 1st down by Jacoby Johnson, junior from Mustang, Oklahoma. Well, Jackson Arnold met all 3 of the criteria that Hugh Freeze was looking for in a quarterback when he went into the portal. He wanted someone who could operate an RPO offense. He wanted somebody with a strong arm to take those deep shots down the field. And he also wanted somebody who could run the football on design quarterback runs. Every time Freeze has had a 10-win season, wherever he's been, he's had that kind of a quarterback. Including Malik Willis at Liberty, won 10 games at Lambeth, 10 at Arkansas State, 10 at Liberty, 10 at Ole Miss. And he said every time we won 10 games, we had a quarterback who could do all those things.
Yeah, athleticism at that position and being able to have quick hands in the RPO game, but plenty of arm to get it outside. Checking those 3 boxes, he said when they looked at the portal options this year, there were 2 guys that really did it. One was John Mateer, the other was Jackson Arnold. And they sure are happy to have Jackson Arnold there on the Plains.
He pulled it down. Looked like he had a lane to his left, but he got smothered for a loss by Dominic Williams, the senior from Torrance, California, transfer from TCU.
And these twists have been giving Auburn some fits all day. This time it's a TT, that's tackle twist. And Dom's able to drop him behind the line of scrimmage.
And both teams have done a really good job, don't you think, Greg, in putting pressure on the quarterback, particularly Oklahoma's defense, but also maintaining discipline in their rush lanes.
They really have, because both quarterbacks are a tremendous threat to take off and run and beat you. Here it's looking like blitz.
On 2nd and 14 with Alston, the running back. Throw out wide. Singleton stayed on his feet. Got back to the original line of scrimmage, but they're going to need close to 10 on 3rd down. Kendall Daniels missed the tackle, and then Sammy Omosigo was there. Omosigo's moved from will linebacker to the middle this year.
What does Brent Venables do here? 3rd and 10. They go after. They've called pressure multiple times here in this situation. Do they call pressure again, or do they drop out? Because it's looking like max protect. Here's where they show their pressure. Do they bring it or do they drop out? Auburn makes their check, anticipating pressure. Looks like they might stand it this time.
Need a snap. Play clock at 1. That's going to be a double pass toward the end zone and incomplete.
Man, it looked like for a moment there was going to be a pass interference at the end of this. It looked like, you'll see quickly, he'll drop back. and then there's a deep ball going this direction. It's well executed. The throw hangs too long, but as the receiver is wide open, look at the close. It looked like contact was pretty close right there. There's the contact. That's got to be pass interference, and a big one let off the hook there from Oklahoma.
Gentry Williams had the coverage. Fourth down and 11. They were lined up like they were going to go for it.
Second charge timeout.
I think with this much time, punt the ball, lean on your defense to get it back was as well as they played today.
Let's take a look at this last play from the AT&T connected cam. You see the back judge desperately trying to get out of the way of where the ball's about to land, but I think he missed one there. I think the defender is there way too early, collisions the receiver, impacts his ability to make a play, and that should have been called pass interference.
Well, he still wasn't looking at the play. He was trying to get out of the way, which obviously if he got in the way, it would have been perhaps even worse than the no call. He has teammates out there supposed to help him and throw a flag in that situation. They're going for it on fourth down and 11. Jackson Arnold takes off running. Jackson Arnold has a first down. On fourth and 11. Father Todd on the left. Mom Sharon on the right in the orange. What a play by their son. A 15-yard gain. Hugh Freeze going for it on fourth and 11.
And what a play. I mean, one of the few times today we've seen this Oklahoma defensive line lose contain up the middle. They've been so good. And then on arguably the biggest snap of the game for Auburn's offense, the quarterback scramble makes it right for the conversion.
8:40 to go. Auburn has not led today. Arnold flushed again. Smart to throw it away. Crowd thought there was some holding there. Flags have come far less frequently here in the second half. There were 15 assessed penalties in the first half, only 2 here in the second. Crowd looking at replays on the big screen in the end zones, and they're convinced the holding they saw live, they saw on the screen.
It looked like the right side of the offensive line might have held up with the guy holding a little bit off the right side.
Second and 10, 8.5 to go. They crowd the line again. They put pressure on. It's up in the air for Malcolm Simmons and broken up by Gentry Williams.
What we're talking about a moment ago, when you have the double team to Cam Coleman, someone on the other side has to win. This time, Simmons does get behind. The ball slightly underthrown. Might have gotten away with one there,
might
too.
have been early again on the contact.
He never really turns around and tries to make a play on the ball. That could have probably been called a pass interference as well.
13th play of the drive. They've had the ball for 6.5 minutes. They've taken it 52 yards.
Seen all their pressure adjustments the last couple series. What did they do this time? Looking like pressure, all-out blitz. Where are you going to throw it? Find your one-on-one.
Arnold, plenty of time. Caught, taken down just short of the first down is Horatio Fields. So here comes another fourth down. They went for it on fourth and 11 and converted. And I think, given the way this game's gone, Greg, don't you just have to go for this?
I think you do. You did on fourth and 11 a moment ago. I would anticipate you doing it again here. And they said earlier, 5 for 5 on fourth downs this year, 4 for 4 on fourth and ones. All 4 of those conversions with Jackson Arnold's legs. Anticipate quarterback run here on fourth and short.
1 for 2 on fourth down today. Alston, the running back. He got tangled up, but the play won't count. They've stopped it. Flags and whistles. That was a disaster waiting to happen for Hugh Freeze.
I'll start. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
Xavier Chaplin. Big play call here for Coach Freeze. Now it's 6 yards to go.
And it might have been a blessing in disguise because this play was not going to pick up that first down as Alston jumped to the outside. But 65, Chaplin leaning just a bit before the ball is snapped.
10 Auburn penalties, 6 against the offensive line. Midway through the fourth quarter, Oklahoma leading by 6. But Auburn's in the red zone. Interesting defensive front there. Under big duress. Flags are down. The pass is incomplete. Intended for Cam Coleman. It was Guillory in the coverage again. And the official on the far sideline indicating it's against Oklahoma.
Pass interference. Defense number 4. And the results. Automatic. First down.
This has been a very favorable matchup all game long for Auburn. It's Guillory working against Cam Coleman. Left arm grabbing the shoulder most of the way. Right there, left hand.
No question.
Big question is, was the throw catchable? But I think still, either way, it's pretty obvious defensive holding or defensive pass interference.
First and goal at the 4. 3 tight ends on the field for Coach Freeze. Simmons breaks a tackle. Touchdown, Auburn. Malcolm Simmons has tied the game with 7:08 to go. And what a drive. Led by the former Sooner Jackson Arnold, the key play of the game so far. His run for the first down on 4th and 11. Mom beaming with pride, as she should be. They endured a very rough year here last year when he was a Sooner. So here's McPherson to give Auburn its first lead of the day. (17-16) Tigers.
And a massive penalty on 4th down. Pass interference on Guillory gives Auburn new life. They go with a little jet sweep handoff to Simmons, who ties it. The extra point pending gives Auburn a big lead.
SEC on ABC College Football is presented by Burger King. You rule.
Malcolm Simmons, first rushing touchdown of his career and his first carry of the season. Talented wide receiver out of Montgomery, Alabama. Oklahoma trails for the first time this season in the 4th quarter of its 4th game of the year. Connor Gibbs the kickoff. Jacob Jordan won't try to run it back as it lands in the back of the end zone.
And this was a really good read here by Jackson Arnold. You're going to see the sweep read, but look at his eyes on the left-hand side. He sees those Oklahoma defenders stay inside. A great block by Frazier, 87 to the outside, as the progressive pylon cam gives you a look at that block, and Simmons hugs it for a nice touchdown run.
What a feeling it must be for Jackson Arnold. He has been rock solid in his return to Oklahoma to face the Sooners when we played the last 2 years. Mateer, short pass. Dion Burks just shy of the first down. Kevin?
Sean, 6-time world champ CM Punk, and the return of his wife AJ Lee, ready to face Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch in a mixed tag team match. Stream WrestlePalooza exclusively on the ESPN app.
Kevin, thank you. Mateer rushed for 4 and a first down. There are a couple of Auburn defenders who are still on the grass. 17 is Xavier Atkins, one of their leading tacklers, and Malik Blockton's a backup defensive tackle. Timeout, 6:40 to go. Auburn by 1. For the undefeated Canes in the in-state battle against Florida. A great day of college football. Still a lot of action to come here. The Prairie on the Plains in front of 83,639. Auburn, a memorable drive to take its first lead. Almost as many points allowed by Oklahoma today as it gave up in their first 3 games. And now Mateer, who's 8 for his last 8 and 13 out of his last 14. Satania, his career high 8 catch, surpassing the 7 he had last week at Temple. This one's good for a 7-yard gain.
And so far here in the second half especially, it's been slot receivers for Oklahoma that have created a lot of problems for this Auburn defense. Just short little underneath throws to those slot receivers, Satania and Burks.
Four-man rush, well blocked. Here's Kanik. First down to the 40-yard line, tackled by Rayshon Pleasant. Kanik was a good linebacker in the rotation last year for Oklahoma, but he thought he could do more to help the program. He went to Brent Venables and said he'd like to be a tight end, H-back type. Venables said, okay, we'll try it, but if we have a shortage of linebacker, we might send you back. Well, he's been a great tight end, and he's not going back to linebacker. Here comes a blitz. Mateer got it off. A deep throw. Caught by Satania. Out of bounds, say the officials. That he was juggling the ball. Sylvester Smith had the coverage.
Looked like initially he was going to reel it in, and Smith gets that left hand in, just never could secure it as it bounces all the way almost into the stands. But a perfect throw there, and one that you'd love to have your slot receiver reel in. But a good job by Smith playing all the way through it.
I think they're going to review this one. And I would like to bring in Matt Austin. Matt, my question would be, we hear so much about you have to finish the catch. But it looks like he has possession as he goes across the boundary. He takes a couple of more steps to where the play should be dead. So, I mean, how long does he have to have the ball in his possession?
Well, what the replay official has to decide, is he an upright receiver or is he going to ground to make the catch? I say he's an upright receiver, so he does not have to survive the ground. He's only going to the ground because the defender's tackling him going out of bounds. When we talk about catches, we talk about a second act. If we're making a football move, that doesn't necessarily be limited to the offense.
Not to interrupt, Matt, I think the question now is, did he have possession of the ball, or was it sliding around that whole time, never really fully in his grasp?
It looked to me like he had complete control of it until they got out of bounds and it was swatted away by the defense.
And this is a good look at it right here. Watch the right hand. It feels secure. It's secured right there. It's secured right there. Right hand still secure all the way through, still secure at this point. And now that's when it gets dislodged. So I'm with you guys. I think this one could be overturned after looking at it again.
I mean, there have been a lot of big and bizarre plays in this game, and it feels like Satania's been involved in every one of them.
After further review, the receiver did complete the catch. There was contact afterwards. First down.
It's been an agonizing day when it comes to the officiating and replay reviews for Hugh Freeze today. All day long. And now Oklahoma at the very least in field goal range to retake the lead as we approach 5 minutes to go. It's a 31-yard play to Satania.
This point of the field, too, this is really where Oklahoma, they're very pass-heavy at the top of the red zone, but as they start to get closer, this is where they start to really lean on the run game. And Auburn's been great against the run today, but can they find the necessary yards here on a pivotal drive?
Career highs for Satania, 9 catches, 127 yards. And he has the Oklahoma touchdown. A blitz. Running room for Mateer. Mateer, touchdown! Straight game with both a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. And they will go for 2 to try to make it a 7-point lead with 4:54 to go. Mateer's 5th rushing touchdown of the season. Blaylock, the running back. Will it be Mateer again? No, he's going to sling it. Well, he might have hit a couple of Oklahoma receivers on the way across the back line. That was Go for Dose, brought to you by Dos Equis. They come up empty.
And this is just a great recognition by Mateer. Look at all those defensive bodies to the left-hand side, but just 2 play sides. So what does he do? Drops back, goes immediately. Outstanding instincts. You got great numbers. They're light on the right side. Take advantage with your legs. You got hat on a hat blocking. And it's nothing between the end zone but one defender who Mateer will gladly take on for the go-ahead score.
Good block by Deion Burks on Rayon Strader to help him get across the goal line. The view from the progressive pylon cam, they cap a 75-yard drive in 6 plays. Helped by the replay review. Mateer was 6 for 6 passing for 62. He's completed his last 11. And then he scored the rushing touchdown.
Beautiful execution and rhythm on that drive for Oklahoma. I mean, that was a thing of beauty from start to finish.
10 straight games, both a passing and rushing touchdown, back to last year for Mateer. It is the longest such streak in FBS football since De'Aaron King did it 16 games in a row. Houston and Miami, 2018 through 2020. The only others to do that in 9 or more games in a row, both a rushing and passing touchdown since 2000, are Tim Tebow, Lamar Jackson, and Marcus Mariota, all 3 of whom won the Heisman Trophy.
Pretty good list right there.
So Jackson Arnold, it's going to be your turn. Pleasant might as well try it. He's dangerous. Started 1-yard dig. There's a flag down. He made the 25, but they're likely going to bring it back. Samuel Masigo made the tackle.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 21. Penalties half the distance to the goal. First down.
So here's Jackson Arnold. 20 for 31 for 211, a touchdown, still not an interception.
What an opportunity for this young man, too. I mean, you know he's been dreaming about it. He's tried to downplay it. But an opportunity to come back to a place that you called home and to steal one from him and a drive right in front of you has to be something that guys live for.
He was under the radar all week, declined all media opportunities, probably on the advice of the coaching staff and sports information folks. Jeremiah Cobb gets 2. Molly?
Well, after Auburn's last touchdown, the sideline erupted, coaches and players all yelling, except for quarterback Jackson Arnold, who went straight to his iPad. All business, watching that drive back, focusing on what he missed, where he can be better, and he is laser focused. And he told his team pregame, I will play my heart out to get this win. He's not celebrating or satisfied until this one's over, Sean.
Alston, the running back, on 2nd down and 7, and the clock at issue with 4:10 to go. Just one timeout for Auburn. Flag down to the line of scrimmage. Arnold scurries out of bounds near the 13. Flag thrown on the far sideline. If it's against Oklahoma, both teams will have double-digit penalties.
There is no foul for an illegal formation. The results of the play stands. 3rd down.
Three-yard gain for Arnold.
So far, it's been a lot of pressure from Brent Venables on 3rd and mediums. Can anticipate all those guys walking up, and Hugh Freeze had similar situation last year, threw a slant, got picked to the house. Anticipate something outbreaking. It's safe to the outside.
Arnold Steps away, throws, caught, first down. Horatio Fields. Coach Freeze raved about him yesterday. A transfer from Wake.
Citing Fields as that steady force and what is still a relatively young wide receiver group. Called him kind of a father figure, and what a moment for him to step in and make his first catch of the game to pick up a big third down.
3 years at Wake Forest, caught 39 balls for the Demon Deacons last year. 3:10 to go.
Same formation, but they're going to probably bluff out. If they get one-on-one, they can take it up top.
Arnold, nowhere to go. David Stone there. Coach Venables raved about him yesterday, one of the most improved players in their program. 2nd and 10. You'd have to think it's 4-down territory throughout now, Greg. Under 3 minutes to go. Only one timeout left, and a field goal does you no good.
These safeties kind of sneaking around right here. What do they do?
Arnold under duress. Did well to stay on his feet. Here come more flags. He's down. Would be the 9th sack. Tying the school record for Oklahoma. Would be the 6th time they've done it.
Holding, offense, number 75, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Connor Lew, the center. So it will not be a record-setting sack. Brent Venables decided to take the penalty. Additional lost yards for Auburn, but they get the down over again. The play was a loss of 2. Seventh penalty on the Tigers' offensive line. And the 8th is just... I mean, you wonder if that's fatigue going part of Xavier Chaplin. He just got up out of his stance when they were nowhere near snapping the ball, it seemed.
Yeah, that's 3 or 4, it feels like, on him by himself, saying to his quarterback, I can't hear you. And it's not going to get much easier as they back closer to what is a very loud section of the stadium.
6 false start penalties on the O-line, 2 holding calls. It's a loud building with a sellout crowd of more than 83,000. And they didn't get it off before the 2-minute timeout. They were whistle sounding. Arnold got rid of it in the end zone, but I don't think that's going to count.
Prior to the snap, this is the 2-minute timeout.
Two minutes to go. Mateer and Arnold both making plays for their teams that have mattered most this afternoon. For the Gators against the undefeated Hurricanes. 2nd and 25.
Goal here for Jackson Arnold. You still got 3 downs to get it, so try to get half of it back right now to set up 3rd and 12 or better.
They need 92 yards in 2 minutes with 1 timeout. He did well to get out of the end zone. He got barely across the line of scrimmage. Run down again by David Stone. Third down. Arnold. Look out, he gets buried. Back at the 3-yard line by Grayson Halton. The school record tying 9th sack for Oklahoma. 6 times it has happened in their history. Last ditch for Hugh Freeze and the Tigers on 4th and 29.
Throw a Hail Mary towards Cam Coleman.
He goes down to the end zone, a safety. On the 10th sack, a fitting ending to this one. Although it's not over yet as they celebrate the sack by our Mason Thomas. the worst thing really that could have happened to Auburn, because if they stop the fourth down, Oklahoma without the score, they just take a knee and the game's over. Now there's at least the possibility, albeit very slim, for Arnold and the Tigers.
Correct. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever, but still the right side of the offensive line, and R. Mason Thomas just missing the first half, certainly making his presence felt. For all intents and purposes, putting it on ice for Brent Venables.
Back doing what he does so well, calling the defenses. Brent Venables, that's where he made his name. Here under Bob Stoops, Clemson under Dabo Swinney. 10 sacks, the single game record all by themselves. And barring something really unusual, Greg, they're going to go to 4-0 Oklahoma without a takeaway on defense. They have not taken the ball away yet. And Coach Venables was bemoaning that after the big win against Temple, but that doesn't matter when you keep winning and keep the other team out of the end zone. So it's a free kick from the 20. They're lining up like it's going to be some attempt to pooch it, perhaps, and then recover it. That'll be Hudson Cox, the punter. Timeout called by Oklahoma.
First charge timeout. Oklahoma, 30 seconds.
Been an agonizing day in so many ways for Hugh Freeze. So many things that will be replayed in the review of this game, including with the SEC officiating folks. So the top two teams in the country, as we look at the college football rankings, brought to you by Goodyear, idle this week, as is number 5, Georgia. You would expect LSU to cruise. They'll be at Ole Miss next week. Our afternoon offering on ABC. Big one tonight in the Big Ten. Illinois and Indiana.
Indiana haven't really played anybody just yet, and they'll get a top 10 Illinois team coming to town. But I have a feeling Indiana's got a couple things up their sleeve for that game.
Will Brent Venables' team be in the top 10 next week? We'll see what happens ahead of them.
You got a very strong argument. Part of that depends, too, on what happens with Michigan against Nebraska. If they get a win, that only strengthens their resume.
Here comes the free kick again. Timeout came just before they tried it the first time. Has to go 10 yards. And the officials waving their arms. It is Oklahoma's ball. Didn't go 10. So that should do it. Brent Venables, some thought was on the hot seat at the end of last year. Gave $1 million in compensation back. He's a very well-liked guy. He's a good guy. He was here for a long time as an assistant. I mean, the locals are behind him and cheering for him, but at a certain point, you need to win. And this is going to be a huge win for him and for this program.
And what a statement, too. I mean, offense didn't have, by any stretch, their best day. To win a game in the SEC with just 300 yards of total offense, -1 in the turnover margin, countless moments in which the ball could have bounced in either direction. You take this one and run. Hugh Freeze has to be disappointed with all the opportunities that seemingly got away from the Tigers.
All John Mateer needs to do is take a knee. Neither quarterback was a huge running threat today. Jackson Arnold had the big run on 4th and 11. But both defenses kept the running aspects of these opposing quarterbacks in check. But Mateer 271 passing. That's 270 or more for the 4th straight game. And he's going to finish 11 for his last 11. To note that safety was important.
Significant for many.
As the game went off with Oklahoma as a 6.5-point favorite. And they win by 7 with those late 2 points. Jackson Arnold, in my opinion, great value in defeat. Under tough circumstances, coming back to a place where it didn't go well for him and where he was booed when he took the field today.
I think he played really hard, and there were some mistakes made for sure. Love to see him take a few less sacks, get the ball out a little quicker, man. But, man, he answered a lot of questions today about his toughness, and should feel good about the effort.
Here's Molly with John Mateer.
John, a fifth rushing touchdown of the season puts you guys ahead. What was your mentality in the moments that mattered most tonight?
Yeah, we didn't have a choice there. We didn't put ourselves in the best position, but we got it done, and that's what it's all about, coming together in the fourth quarter. That's what we train for. So
your defense with 10 sacks today. That sets a school record. What is it like watching that group from the sideline?
I mean, it's real fun to watch from the sideline, but it's not very fun to practice against. So we go against it all the time. That's an amazing group. They work so hard, and they deserve every bit of it.
You told us that you embrace the pressure and the expectations. How has this group elevated you to be able to rise to those expectations?
I mean, they all hold me accountable, and we all hold each other accountable, and we know what's going to happen in the end because we believe in each other. So that's the most fun part.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you. Thank you.
John.
Impressive young man on and off the field. Enjoyed our visit with him. All the intangibles that make him a very popular team leader. Chosen as one of their captains, even though he just arrived in January. The Sooners are 4-0. Stay tuned for Florida and Miami. Oklahoma wins 24-17. Let's send you to the studio. Here's Kevin.
Thank you for watching this presentation of the Southeastern Conference.